And we back. Cause we black. Cause we back. And we black. Oh yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the CJK Experience. My name is CJ Kyles, the high value nurse. And it is another edition here today. I am so glad that you all are here with me whenever you're watching, at whatever moment in time you may be looking at this broadcast. I think the one important thing to remember is that you could have been anywhere, and I do mean anywhere in the world, but you are right here with me, ladies and gentlemen, and I greatly appreciate it. I am broadcasting to you live from the lovely city of Northville, Michigan to be exact. And it should be a good show, loaded show. A little bit more organized this evening than normal. Well, I'm not saying that we ain't organized, but I got some things laid out that I want to talk about. But before I do that, let me introduce my esteemed panel and bring them onto the fold. Ladies first, let me introduce the Blooming Ebony, Chris in the building.
Hi.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on a road to make Chris say one cuss word. No, I'm just playing, y'all. I'm just playing. Ladies and gentlemen, and introducing my other player partner, Mr. King Gene in the building.
What's going on, brother?
What's up, King Gene? You all right?
I'm good, my brother. Glad to be back with you.
Hey, man, I'm glad y'all here. Very glad y'all here. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all right here with me, and I appreciate it. So how was everybody's week? I know we had like a little pre-discussion, but we're just trying to get it in for the people who may not know in YouTube land. How was y'all week?
It was a grind.
Grinding. Y'all, Chris was getting it in, y'all. She was putting in them hours. I'm going to just say that. King Gene, what about you, man? What's been going on with you over the last few days since we've spoken?
Well, like I said, brother, it was just a week, man. We survived and we made it, so everything is good.
Man. Yeah, we sure did. Well, why not get right into it? Let's get into our first topic. Ladies and gentlemen, our brother AJ Johnson, comedian AJ Johnson, has passed away, transitioned. Over the past week, it was discovered that this brother had a heart attack and ended up passing away. And now his wife threw a GoFundMe campaign to pay for his funeral expenses. Now, AJ Johnson, if you don't know who that is, he has starred in movies, hood classics, if you will, such as Friday. I got the Hookup 1 and 2. You can see his stand-up comedy all on YouTube, the No Limit stand-up. Just a bunch of work he's put in. And AJ Johnson did his thing. But with that being said, the brother unfortunately passed away and did not have any life insurance. And his wife has said that people are showing him fake love because he did not. People are not donating as they thought they would. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I think we have a situation on our hands, and it is another example of how people can be world renowned and have all this, what you think, fame and fortune, but are not prepared when it's time for them to get up out of here. So let me go to the panel. Let me start with Chris. Ladies first. Chris, are you familiar with AJ Johnson and his work?
No. I've seen a few of the movies he was in, but I'm not familiar with him particularly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you seen the movie Friday?
Yeah, of course, yes. The whole series.
So you know who Ezell, the crackhead, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty much him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's him. Ezell. That was him. So he was in the first Friday. He didn't do any other ones, but like I said, the brother was pretty popular, pretty well known, and he didn't have any life insurance. Do you think that is something within the Black community that we just don't care about, something that we don't put any real importance on, especially like younger Black folks? Because a lot of us think that we're going to live forever. And I am guilty of that. So I mean, I don't have life insurance, but I will be getting me some because Drina has been on my head about it. Because I mean, why put your family through that? But do you think that's just something that we put on the back burner, Chris?
Getting life insurance?
Yes, and being prepared because you know, he didn't have it. I guess they was trying to raise like $20,000, and now they have 40,000, according to my producer. And are we just not prepared when it's time for us to go?
Yeah, I think so for the most part. I think, especially for people who don't have corporate jobs where they're, pulling the money out regularly from your check automatically for life
Right.
insurance. If you don't have one of those types of jobs, you're not going to think about purchasing life insurance, especially if you're younger. And I feel as though you may have, a grandparent here and there who tells you to try and be more prepared, but they don't really tell you how. They don't really tell you how they did it, if they even talk about it. My grandmother, when she passed, she was very prepared. Everything was done, but she never talked to us about it. We didn't know that she had been doing all that work behind the scenes. And so, yes, I do think that's something that we put on the back burner. I don't know if it's necessarily just our community. I think it's younger people in general. I think people typically think you don't have to sign for life insurance until you're about to retire. And I just think it's a misconception in general.
Well, the reason I say our community is because usually, like I've seen this off too often when somebody dies, and not just somebody famous or somebody who may have been like a C or D list celebrity dies. Usually we go straight to GoFundMe, throw a fish fry and all this kind of stuff to try to pay for the funeral arrangement. So it's just a very unfortunate scenario. And life insurance was just something that, I mean, I've thought about it, and it's no reason why I shouldn't have life insurance. It's $15 a month, so like, there's no reason why I shouldn't have it. So I'm gonna go make that happen. I don't want my mom to be throwing no fish fry for me. That's kind of embarrassing. Like, Lord, CJ done left us with these bills and everything like that. And nah, I ain't trying to put people through that if that was to happen. But knock on wood, I ain't trying to get up out of here for a long, long, long time. King Gene, same question. Are we just not prepared, like in our community particularly?
First of all, CJ, let me say, man, that music is man, that music jamming, man.
Oh, so it's not too distracting, is it?
No, brother, I'm swaying my head to it and I don't even know it. But let me get back on task. Okay.
All right, bet.
So now while you were speaking with Chris, man, I just did a quick look up on this brother. This brother has done over 30 movies in his lifetime. 30. So now if he didn't have life insurance, then surely he had, some savings that he could have put toward, a rainy day. Mm-hmm. But I tend to agree with Chris, especially the younger populace, because, we think we're invincible and that nothing's going to happen. So this would be a waste of money to put something toward life insurance. But you never know, man. Time and unforeseen circumstances befall us all. So
facts.
Things can happen out of the blue. And when they happen, it would be better to be prepared than not to be prepared. And I think that's what happened to AJ, man. He didn't know things were going to end up this way. If he had, then we'd have had something in place. But it just really underscores the fact that it's better to be prepared in the first place. Anyway,
you're right, man. I just, they just gonna have to take it out my account because I'm not gonna remember to do that, especially something like life insurance, because now it's just so far away from my list of priorities, like from my priority list. And I'm just like, just put it out, take it out my check-in, take it out my account monthly, because I got Netflix coming out. I got HBO Max. I got all kinds of stuff that's really not that important. You know what I'm saying? Coming out. So we need to get that up in order. But Michael Blackson, he donated $10,000 to his campaign, to the funeral. And according to my producer, she said that they now have $40,000. Now, I saw a video today from O'Shea Duke Jackson. Shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson. And he says that he feels that his family will probably blow the money, the rest of the money, because that seems to be what they happen to do when he was alive. AJ Johnson did several interviews saying that Master P gave him $1 million for this movie and that project. And, so the brother did make some money while being in the game. Now, I don't know what his spending habits is like, and I don't tend to count other people's pockets, but why do you think, and I know we're not celebrities or anything like that, but let me just ask y'all, why do you think when it comes to us, we see so many stories like this over and over and over again of so many black celebrities dying broke? Why do y'all think that may be? Chris, go ahead.
A lack of financial literacy. That's pretty much it. People don't know how to plan with their money. They wait till it's too late. And managing finances takes a lot of discipline, And I feel, especially for celebrities, it happens so quick. One day they're a waitress or whatever, their quick little hustle that they do just to live, to survive while they're pursuing their dream. One day they're barely getting by, and the next day they have millions of dollars possibly. And the amount of shock that they probably have is ridiculous. And then not only are they trying to figure out what to do with this new status, their families are feeding off of this new status. And you have that guilt, like, okay, well, I now have all this money. Let me share it with my family, with certain friends. And so now you're spreading your wealth across people who also don't know how to manage money. Instead of building trust and saying, okay, I think another issue as well, which is this is why I have a job. I do taxes for ultra wealthy people. And the first thing that they do is they say, I don't want to do everything myself. I can't do everything myself. If I have to manage my own money, I'll be broke by the end of the year. And so they hire CPAs, they hire tax preparers to do this for them because they are humble enough to say that they cannot do everything by themselves. I feel like for a lot of celebrities, particularly a lot of celebrities in our community, we've been trained to do everything on our own, that we can do it on our own, and to not really trust, the government or accountants or, certain people. And so you're not going to ask experts to do their job because you don't trust them. You want to think that you can handle it yourself.
Yeah, that's real talk, because last year I made the most money that I ever made in my life. And Uncle Sam came hollering at a player like, hey, CJ, we see you on YouTube flossing and everything like that, talking. Well, they said, where's my paper? They came to collect on a player, and collect they did. So, yeah, it is very important that we get that in order. King Gene, financial literacy. Why do you think that's something that's not hammered in school from a young age? Because I don't remember being taught. Like I went through the Detroit public school system for the most part, and we didn't get classes on being financial literate and learning things that are going to help us as adults in the future. Like, we might have had a couple economics classes, but it was just cookie cutter stuff, not things that we could really apply to our daily lives. Why do you think it's like that, King Jane?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I know in my area, man, in Mississippi growing up, I think the thought was, being honest, that you were just happy to have textbooks and teachers to teach, because there was such a shortage of resources there, man. So I know that's probably one reason why. I know that's, look, I'm not trying to make any kind of what would you call it, excuse for them. I'm not trying to make one, but just to have textbooks, I think they were doing good. And so to be able to teach something that was not mandatory on the curriculum, they weren't going to do that, man.
Right.
Overworked and underpaid. So that's right. Something that they didn't really put a whole lot of stock in. But as you say now, that would have most definitely helped in the future.
For sure.
Because it's like we have a love-hate relationship with the money that we make. I was talking with Chris a little while ago, and we were talking about that circulation of the dollar in the black community for 6 hours. Now that's not Kevin crazy. Samuels. That's not Kevin Samuels. That's from the
facts. That you can look that up.
6 whole hours, man. You know what I'm saying? You didn't so you get your paycheck, and your paycheck doesn't last one single work day. You put in 8 hours for one single work day, and the money doesn't circulate even that long.
Wow.
So that financial literacy that Chris was talking about is something that we as a community we really need to focus on, because if you don't have enough money to bury yourself, so that it won't be a burden on your family and friends, then you can't call yourself financially literate. You just can't.
Right. That's a fact. Yeah, we live now in a time where everybody is hiring. The whole country is hiring at this point. A lot of people have died out of positions. A lot of people are still nervous about going to work. And I mean, I understand it, especially being in the medical field. And it's just like now more than ever, like, I don't know about y'all, but growing up in Detroit, you could never get a job at a gas station. Like, I've seen more gas stations with now hiring signs than any place like ever. Like, it's literally like hiring everywhere. So let me ask y'all a question. Why do you think now with the pandemic and, us trying to recoup from that, do you think it's going to be a situation to where we now take on, like, people are going to be more willing to work? Or do you think people are going to really ride this unemployment stimulus check thing out all the way until the wheels fall off? What do y'all think about that? Because maybe that has something to do with, well, not this case in particular, but if we are in a situation to where we know that money is coming, like the stimulus and like the unemployment, it kind of forces, it's kind of like, well, we don't have to be financially literate because we know that it's coming, especially with no work being put in. So what do y'all think about that? Go ahead, King Gene, what you think?
Well, I agree with you, brother, because I know I've talked to a few of the business owners in my area, and that's their thing. They're saying that what they believe is that the flow of money coming from the government, the stimulus, like you mentioned, the unemployment, is what's prompting people not to come back to work because they're relying on the government to give them the resources that they need. I mean, now we just down the street is a Kroger, and man, to show you how severe it is, 2 or 3 checkout lines are open because they don't have anybody to come in and check out groceries and things of that sort. So,
Man,
I
that's
think,
real talk.
and I think a lot of people are just going to rely on that. Like you said, they're going to ride this wave until it comes to an end. The moratorium, I did a video on that particular instance. There's a guy owed $12,000 to a landlord and refused to pay it.
Wow.
And the landlord had given him and his wife an opportunity to have positions in his business. He was a big time contractor.
Wow.
The husband he did shelves, and he did countertops and things of that sort in homes. He built them from scratch. And then his wife was what would you call it? She was a clerical assistant. And so they had the experience that was needed, and they turned jobs down.
What did they say? Why?
Well, because they were, as you mentioned, they were waiting on stimulus to hit. They wanted more stimulus, and they wanted more unemployment, and so they just turned those jobs down. And and the landlord was absolutely angry.
I bet,
because he tried to help him.
Because he got to eat too, and he should eat. Chris, what do you think about that? With the question I asked King Gene, and you being a professional in that avenue, doing your thing, working with the money. What do you see this pandemic leading people, especially with new spending habits and people depending on stimulus checks and unemployment, which probably will run out pretty soon? But what do you think about all that, Chris?
Yeah, I agree with King Gene and you. They're going to write it out for as long as they possibly can, especially with this rent moratorium. We work not because we want to, but because we have to. The reason why they pay us is because there's something else we'd rather be doing, whether that's cleaning your house, mowing your lawn. It can be something that's strenuous, but you'd rather be doing what you want to do versus what you have to do for somebody else.
Facts.
And the fact that they're paying people to do what they want to do all day, and they're not charging, and you're not going to get kicked out of your house, and you can do what you want with the money. It's free money. Well, nothing. There's no such thing as free from an
Right.
accountant.
Right.
Free doesn't exist, but you get the idea.
Right.
You're not going to feel incentivized to work.
Right.
Like nowadays they're giving $1,000 signing bonuses for pizza delivery drivers just to get people to work again. $1,000.
Jesus Christ.
People do not want to work, and it makes sense. That's how markets work. That's the point of having money, is to add value. Give people what they need in exchange for their services. But the issue is that push, that need to do this so you can do the things that you want to do, afford the things that you want to do, that's been taken away with the moratorium, with the unemployment. And of course there are other circumstances. Like there are some people who are extremely afraid of the virus, but for the most part, I think a lot of people are just kind of riding the wave. We're always going to take the easiest route as humans.
I think that virus, the whole being scared of this virus thing, has played itself out. It has been football games. It has been concerts. It has been festivals. It has been all kind of events going on. People are traveling. People are going to all-inclusive resorts. People are going on cruises. People are living their best lives right now. So I'm not saying that this whole being scared of the virus isn't a legit fear, but I agree with the both of you that, people are just riding this thing out, and it is creating a whole new, I'm not going to say generation, but a whole new, I don't know, like a whole new spectrum of people who will eventually become financially illiterate. Because especially if you are a younger person and you are seeing this pandemic play out as it is, and you are seeing that, well, mom and dad, they're not going to work because they are dependent on the unemployment and they riding this thing out. That could be passed on to a younger person. And now they think that this is how we are supposed to get money, relying on benefits. Let me read some of these comments. Let me see. Dee said they have 40,000 now. Okay, so she's referring to AJ Johnson. She said I said her government name. Yeah, not really. I said your nickname. Keep Loving says, I remember failing at selling life insurance while living in New Orleans. That was a hurtful experience to not be able to sway people living in the city with a high death rate on young people. Wow. Dee says, I think people are scared of life insurance. And let me know if y'all ever want to respond to any of these comments while I'm going. Just stop me. Dee said they can set it up like that. Majority of people do it that way. I'm thinking she's talking right through the accounts, the checking accounts. She says, I taught my middle and high school students about an IRA today. So I will make sure to go back and tell them about life insurance. Jewel says she's speaking facts. Miss Madison Diane says, Miss Chris, LOL at CJ. Shout out to Hall of Fame. Send that link. I'll be on in a few. So how I'm going to work it today, since I do have a set of topics played out, what I'll do is I'll end up dropping the link. But since we do have the three, and I believe Japrice is coming on soon, the people that do call in, you have about 5 to 7 minutes to say what you have to say. And we're going to move on from there, because I just don't want the conversation to become too cluttered with so many people on at one time. So that's how we're going to work that. Dee said, I had a business class in 8th grade. I was in a charter school. Y'all, she fancy, y'all. She said she taught us how to write checks, save money, and open accounts, y'all. So yeah, Dee, she a little fancy. She a little fancy. They ain't teach us that. We was trying to learn how to dodge bullets. No, I'm just playing.
You go.
I'm just playing. Y'all.
All love, brother. All love.
She said, that's a shame. Said, I work at a charter school for kids in CPS, and I teach them about finances and careers. She says, I keep loving you are a blessing. Let me see. Jewel Smith says, with the lockdowns going on in other countries like Australia, do y'all think we might have another one? I think it's coming. Michigan just hit 1 million cases. So, but our governor is like, F y'all. Y'all threatened to take my life when I shut it down. Like they plot on our governor's life. They plotted on her life. They threatened to kidnap her and all this type of stuff. So she's like, F y'all. So y'all want to go out here and catch it? Go ahead. I don't care. So probably not in Michigan. What do y'all think? Y'all think we're gonna have another lockdown?
In Oregon, yeah, they're super liberal here. Well, okay, I don't want to bring this into politics, but they are really pushing the vaccine masking here. And because of that, I think they're going to kind of hit us with that. If you don't want to be on lockdown anymore, we have to get vaccination rates up, or we have to make it mandatory in companies. And they're really trying to push that. And sometimes I think with these lockdowns, they do it just to kind of get people to kind of incentivize people to get the vaccine. At least in Oregon, not everywhere, but in Oregon, I've been seeing that pattern.
What about you, King James? What you think?
I think one's coming, brother, because I know in our area, man, you got people that are adamantly opposed to wearing masks. They don't want to do it. And so because they don't want to wear a mask, then they, it's more prevalent that they're going to spread the disease. So I think in our area it really is, because now, even though you have resources in place where, man, people can go and walk in and get the vaccine for free, a lot of hysteria is whipped up about what's in the vaccine and things of that sort. So a lot of people here that's just not taking advantage of that.
And YouTube, we not telling people what they should and should not do. So don't come over here with that mess trying to flag my channel because we mention the word vaccine. All right. So we just talking. We commentating at this point. That's it, YouTube. All right, leave us be. Maurice says, I think most people don't know about the term life insurance, understanding how affordable it can be. Keep Loving says, they are a blessing to me because of them. Beat teacher burnout, or I think she meant to say I beat teacher burnout, and now I am working to become a nurse. Shout out to Keep Loving. Keep loving. That's what's up. Okay. Marie says another lockdown. Yes. If a mutation occurs, that's resistant to the vaccine. Dee says, I don't think so. The U.S. lost so much money. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, honestly, in my field, Biden has put into law that either you vaccinated or you're not. And if you're not going to be working, if you're not. So, I mean, I don't think you should, like I said, I don't think it should be forced. I think people should be willing to do it. But at the same time, us as healthcare professionals, we know what we signed up for. You know what I'm saying? We knew what it was when we signed up, and things like this could particularly happen. Who would have thought that when I chose to become a nurse, one of the worst events in healthcare history would take place? Great timing. So, but I mean, it is what it is, man. I mean, I got what I needed to get, and I'm ready to make that paper at the end of the day. So, any final thoughts on AJ Johnson and his situation? Any final thoughts? Final thoughts. Well, ladies and gentlemen, get your life insurance popping, so you don't end up like AJ Johnson and his people stressing over the money. But one thing I did want to ask, though, King Gene. King Gene, his wife was upset with the people because he said they're showing fake love by not donating to him. And this is where my issue comes into play. Because y'all, you know how I feel about obligation and saying what people should and should not be doing. King Gene, is it fake love that his fans may not have been as supportive on the financial end and with his funeral proceedings? Do you think that's fake love, King Gene?
Not at all. I don't think so. Because now think about it, like we just talked about, CJ, 30 movies. And as a community, man, a lot of us went out and supported those movies.
Absolutely.
So we showed love to the brother at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's all about being a good steward, man. You giving resources, what you choose to do with the resources, how you choose to handle them, like Chris said, is up to you. So now, but now my question to her would be, what did y'all do?
Right.
What did y'all do with all of the resources that he was bringing in?
Right.
Or did you live a life of luxury thinking that this day would never come?
Mm-hmm.
If you did, now here's what the results of it is. You're gonna reap what you sow here. Here's what you sold a life of luxury and you didn't plan according to what you knew was going to happen in the future, and now you're reaping it. You're gonna have to do, because another thing too, I think about GoFundMe, having fish fries. That's becoming the norm. It looks like in our community we would do everything except the right thing. The right thing is to get insurance. The right thing is to make sure as a man. Now I'm finna hit the brothers a little hard here now, so pardon me. The right thing as a man is to say, okay, I have a wife, and maybe I have some children. I don't know what's going to happen to me, but one thing I know that I can control is whether or not I have a life insurance policy set up so that if something does happen to me, they'll be taken care of. That's the thing to do, man. So now, as far as the fake love, now I don't subscribe to that. I don't think that that's the case. I think that it was real love, because the resources were given to the brother while he was doing his thing. He was a comedic genius, man. If you looked at the movies that he was in, and we went out to support him. So the money that he had, he should have done something, a lot wiser than what he chose to do with it, man.
Well, so I can get my life insurance policy started, don't forget to support the channel at the CJ Kyles on Cash App. Send the player some life insurance, a little bit of life insurance paper, so I ain't gotta do no fish fry like AJ Johnson people. Chris, same question to you. Do you think it's fake love? Because that's what his wife said. His wife said people are showing him fake love because they are not contributing to his funeral funds. And I'm sure some of his fans have donated and everything like that. But do you think that's fake love? Are his fans obligated to do that, to send him that paper, Chris?
No, I agree with King Gene 100%. And honestly, I feel like the fact that she said that is kind of disrespectful, like.
Break it down. Break it down.
I understand. Number one, it sounds a little bit greedy. I understand going online and saying, hey, we're almost to our goal. If you guys can help us, that would be great. But to kind of ask for free money that's tax-free, and then insult the people giving you the money, that is disrespectful, because now you look greedy. And someone, I think Keep Levin says she's the one that's fake. It's kind of what I'm getting. It's kind of giving me this her lifestyle is seeming a little bit shaky, and so she's asking for a bit more than what she deserves. This is that. I think it's. Sorry, let me gather this. Asking for the money isn't the problem, but how you do it is the problem. To insult the people, you don't bite the hand that feeds you. And to have that approach it shows that there are some layers to her that aren't very genuine, if that makes sense.
I hear that. Oh, is my sister's keep? That's a sip of D. That's Danny. Danny, what's up? You changed your name on YouTube? Shout out to you, Danny, in the building. Yeah, I agree with y'all. I agree with y'all. Danny, I'll send you the link if you ain't busy. I didn't know if you was working tonight, but I will send you this link. I'm sending it right now over Facebook. And if you want to come in and join the panel, come on through, my sister. But, well, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, that is my final thoughts. I think you got to be more prepared when it comes down to it. And like I said, if you want to help CJ start his life insurance fund, go ahead and hit a player with that Cash App, So my mama ain't got to be out here saying, heaven forbid, but my mama ain't got to be out here saying he was a good boy. Y'all was on his YouTube. Go ahead and send him some money. Send a player $15 while we here right now. So I'm just messing with y'all. Yeah. Let me see. Sister on the Mission says no lockdown in Michigan. Didi says RIP, sir. Keep Loving says love and boundaries can exist. No, not fake love. Didi says his family's stressing, not him. He has no more worries of this world. My sister's keeper say that's crazy that he a whole celebrity and wasn't financially responsible for his family. He had fake love for them. Wow. Okay.
Absolutely.
Let me see. August Heat says high value nurse on the grind. Didi says he and salute to August Heat. Didi says he probably thought he had time to make it back. I don't think his fake love fans are not responsible for his funeral expenses. His wife said in the video that she saw him on Friday and thought there would be more films. And a little FYI, him and his wife are not even actually together. They were not together at the time of his death. So, just yeah. So that's some more.
That's a whole nother layer.
I know that's some more foolishness in the game. Right. That's some more. But we're gonna leave it at that. Keep Loving says she's the one that's fake. August he says, how about you, nurse? Him and his wife weren't together. Yep. As well as Michael Blackson donated 10K. Yep, that's a fact. Absolutely disrespected to say something like that. Didi says, I agree, Chris. I know she was hurt and sad, but to put the blame on others was wrong. Danny says, yes, I did change my name the other day. Didi said, we ain't doing no fish fry in Jesus' name. Well, hallelujah. We are finna get into the next topic. I don't know why my Facebook acting crazy. I'm trying to send Danny this message real quick. But ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get into the next topic. I want to talk about Miss Jada Pinkett Smith. Now, to me, ladies and gentlemen, I feel this lady is a hot mess. Has been a hot mess for the longest of time. Now, are y'all familiar with the entanglement situation from last year? Look, he got on the sleeping cap. King Gene, are you familiar with the entanglement situation?
I am, man. You know, I'm gonna tell you something, man. Will Smith, man. I greatly admire that brother, man. I really do. But sitting at that table, man, I thought the man was about to go into cardiac arrest. I really did. I thought he was gonna have a heart attack for real because the way he was looking.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, man, somebody need to go see about Will, man. Where his homeboys at?
Was that good acting? Was it good acting though?
No, I don't think it was acting, man. I think he was for real about that.
No, I get the messages every day from the single mothers, the baby.
That's a little early, my bad. But go ahead, King Gene.
No, man, I think he was for real, man. I think that brother was genuinely hurt. What's going on, D?
How are you guys?
What's up, Danny D in the building? What's going on?
Nothing much. I do have to work tonight.
I'm feeling that background. Where you get that from?
I bought that at the beginning of COVID. I was in this group for Amazon that had stuff on sale, and I was just swiping my card like everybody else.
I hear that. I need to get me some, y'all. Didi, she got me some pictures made for my birthday. Let me show y'all because I am very proud of these. So I'm about to get my background started. She got me some
I saw them sitting over there. I love that.
Yeah.
She got me like some big portraits made. And I'm gonna have to not this one, but this one, and I like it, but this is my favorite one. This one right here. That's right there. So.
I know what my favorite. Man. You look like you're thinking about something important.
I am, yeah. I'm thinking about how to get this money. So we're gonna have to get that pop. I gotta get my background together. But Danny D, what's cracking? You gotta work at 11, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, y'all. For those who don't know, Danny D, she just graduated. Is now an RN. Shout out to Danny D getting it in, getting that money.
Yes.
But so I seen you commenting on the situation we were just talking about. We about to get into the Will and Jada in a second. But any comments you want to say right now about Mr. AJ Johnson and that situation?
I said that he wrong for not being responsible. She wrong for trying to make strangers responsible. And then more wrong for calling on his fans when they're not even together. Even if my husband broke up, I would still have life insurance on him because I have his children.
Right.
So that was her responsibility too. Like, do you not have a job?
Mm-hmm.
Could you not pay? Do you don't have no credit cards? How you with a celebrity? You don't got no credit? Like you can charge a funeral.
Yeah.
You ain't got no $5,000 credit card.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, I wanted to get into Miss Jada Pinkett, man. So, like I said, I know you familiar with the entanglement situation, right, Danny? Yeah, the whole entanglement thing and whole August Alsina thing. And now recently a new headline has came out. It says actress Jada Pinkett Smith reveals bucket list at 50. I really want to learn how to love.
I was actually going to do a live about that too when I saw you share it.
She said, at 50, I really want to learn how to love. Now, for those of you who are not familiar, Jada Pinkett pretty much single-handedly put a dent in Will Smith's damn near bulletproof career. Will Smith has been squeaky clean for the last 30 plus years. And now he gets with, he's been with Jada for a little while now. And this whole entanglement thing comes out. You got August Alsina talking about he slept with and she didn't deny it, all that good stuff. And now she's talking about she needs to learn how to love at 50 years old. King Gene, I'm gonna start with you because I seen you pull out the sleeping the sleeping thing for your eyes. So the blindfold. So King Gene, what is going on with our sister Jada right now? What's going on with her? Is she for the streets? Because I believe my conclusion is that she wants to be for the streets at 50 years old. What's going on with our sister?
Okay, so first of all, I'm with you on that. I think there's something that's absolutely wrong with this situation. And I'll tell you where I think it started. I believe it started with the loss of Tupac. That's where I think it started. I believe.
Was that her true love?
I believe that's what it was. I believe Tupac was a true love. But now, Will being the man that he is, the upstanding guy that he is, from what we know, this was easier for her to transition because this was a man of integrity. This was a man who evidently was going to do the things he needed to do to keep the family going. But I do not feel that he was her first choice. I don't believe it, man. And then sitting at the red table. First of all, look, I'm not approaching any tables that don't belong to me. If the table don't belong to me, I'm not approaching it because the way that he was brought in and sitting at the table, and then she's across, and you know she's dropping some pretty heavy information on this brother. And like I said before, I really believe that the man was about to go into cardiac arrest. I really do, because now, according to what I've seen now. Now, you know, I'm not within their lives. I don't know. But according to what I've seen, she was what he wanted. She was what he wanted. Now, whether he was what she wanted, something totally different, man. Something totally different.
Chris, what's up with our sister Jada? I know you did a video about settling not too long ago. And I'm going to bring that home to you in a second because King Gene did bring up an interesting perspective. But before we do that, what do you think is going on with our sister Jada? 50 years old, talking about she need to learn how to love. 50. She got kids, probably got some grandkids at this point. What's the deal with our sister right now?
She's delusional. She thinks she's in a Disney movie. She thinks she's in a Disney fantasy. This is one thing that I really struggle with. And it's hard for me to say it because I'm not living this life. And if I could go back and do it again, these are the changes that I would make. The issue with so many women nowadays is that they're too romantically and sexually free. They give themselves to all these men. They don't end up with these men for the rest of their lives. And then later on down the line, they think that they're settling for somebody who's giving them what they actually need, you know, but they feel as though they don't love them. They don't connect with them because they want this weird attraction that they're being sold. And this is, there's so many people who are like, well, you should feel attracted to your husband, to your partner. But the thing is about attraction is that it comes and goes and it's not always going to be physical. Typically, right. If someone's providing for you as a woman, if they're doing everything you need them to do, that level of attraction grows. There are people who get married in 5 weeks.
Yep.
And they do that and they'll tell you, oh, I didn't actually love them until 3 months later, 6 months later. Because I realized that they were doing everything that I needed, that they were always going to be there for me, and they were always going to be reliable. They're always going to provide. They're always going to protect me. And then that attraction started to grow over time. The issue now is that we keep telling women that they can just go and let their freak flag fly and that there aren't any consequences down the road. And that's what happened with her.
Did you say freak flag?
Yes, letting it fly.
I thought you almost cussed. I thought she almost said a cuss word, ladies. Hey, listen, I'm about to get a meter. We're gonna get a meter. It's gonna be like we're gonna call it Chris cuss word meter. So I think you was almost in the red right there. But no, that's real talk. That's real talk. Danny D, what's wrong with our sister Jada?
Nothing.
You don't think no?
No. Okay, so I actually like Will and Jada, so I actually have been following their relationship since for a while. So first of all, they have an open relationship.
You said say one more time.
They have an open relationship.
You believe that?
No, that's what's been said.
Oh, okay.
So it's not just that she's been doing things; he has also been doing things. It's just that maybe he's doing stuff with people who don't want to say anything about it. Secondly, Will and Jada did a red table talk with his kids, and in the comments, somebody said that Keep Loving was saying that she didn't submit to his leadership. She absolutely submitted to his leadership, and it made her miserable because he was forcing his whole family to do what he thought was best for them, which it wasn't. That's why Willow shaved off her hair, and they had a whole family discussion about this on Red Table Talk, where he was like, I had to sit back and think about I'm doing too much. I'm putting my expectations on my family, and it hit me when my daughter told me, Daddy, we're not the family that Daddy wants. We're not good enough for him or something like that. So he put that pressure on his family. It's not them. It's him. Okay. And then August coming out and saying everything about them having a relationship. Not only did Will and did Jada admit to it, Will didn't deny that he gave permission, because August said that Will gave permission for me to be with his woman.
I believe August 100%. Yeah.
Will didn't say that was false. So they are for the streets. They both are for the streets. He's just quietly doing it. And lastly, I don't think there's nothing wrong with her admitting that she has a flaw that she needs to learn to love. People think that just because he got money and notoriety, that he's supposed to be this wonderful catch. And it's like, no, he's not. We don't know that man. What we know is his public persona, which he keeps squeaky clean, and we actually know nothing about this man. In Islam, they say you know a man by his wife. His wife is the tell-all of who the man is. So if we're gonna be bashing her, know that we bashing him, and he's falling off. Like Mr. Hall of Fame was saying the other day, is that he is not a good leader. His house is falling apart. Literally, Will's house is falling apart because that's still his wife in his home. He needs to be a better leader. He needs to show her better how to love, because it's been said that he doesn't, even on that Red Table Talk, to his face. He needs to learn how to love. And there's nothing wrong with her coming out publicly and saying, even though I've been with this man and I've had kids and we've had this long relationship, I actually don't know how to love. What's wrong with her being able to be honest about what she knows how to do and what she doesn't?
Only thing I'm saying, D, about the situation is, okay, now, with all that you just said, now first of all, let me thank you, because you opened my eyes up to a lot of things that I didn't know was actually occurring. But now, would you be willing to see still though that all of the things that have gone on, right? I'm talking about at the very beginning. Do you think she was mentally ready to be with Will Smith?
No.
They talked about that on the Red Table Talk.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Now that's
and I don't think that it started with Tupac either. It started with her mother, because her mother was a drug addict and her home has been unstable since childhood.
Right. Now I remember her mom sitting down with her and having that conversation. So basically, what I'm getting from you, D, is that it may have been the case that she was just unstable in general, and maybe what she thought was adding a husband and children to the mix would somehow bring some stability to her, but it doesn't seem like it worked that way. Because now I'll give you the benefit of the doubt on that. A lot of stars that we know, these people are crazy. They doing all kind of stuff in the background. Look at Harvey Weinstein. So you can't really I can't really discount what you're saying, but when I looked at the interaction at that red table talk between Will and Jada, it looked like you said. It looked like it was strained. It looked like one person was devastated, and the other person had went through some difficulties. But it appeared to me that her being honest freed her. She was free. It was like a weight that was lifted.
I feel like they've been living this life in silence, and his devastation wasn't for his marriage, but for the image that you guys speak of.
Okay.
Which I don't think is a bad. I don't think that's a bad thing, though.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying that she don't deserve to be bashed for being truthful and setting herself free. She owed more to herself than anyone, and that's what I speak about.
But you know the thing with that is, though, even going by what you said with that situation, had the tables been turned, Will would have been buried.
Yep.
Will would have been buried. Will's career would have been done. Like, even going back to the August Alsina thing, he would have been seen as a manipulator. He would have been seen as somebody who takes advantage of sick and desperate women who need healing. So that's the thing that I'm not feeling with that point. And I'm gonna get to you in a second, CKQ and Hall of Fame. Thank y'all for coming on.
No worries, man.
But from the beginning, I think Will Smith should have got with the person that aligned with his vision from the beginning. Point blank, period. And me personally, I think I agree with King Gene because I believe her true love was Tupac. In my opinion, from what I've seen, I believe her true love was Tupac. Will was just a safer bet. Will was the safer bet. And I always think that Jada was for the streets. But Jada said, okay, my acting career ain't all that popping. Like, she got some stuff going on, but Will is safe. And Will is going to be successful at all costs. And here's the thing. When you are a team, sometimes you need to take one for the damn team. I don't think that Will was hurt in that interview. I think that was good acting because I think they are both swingers, in my opinion. I think they both do what they do in the streets, but Will has a Trump-type team around him that keeps that all in check. And Jada, I think subconsciously is trying to get out of that situation. I think it was just a toxic situation from the beginning. You said something about Willow and them saying that we are not. What did you say she said, Danny?
She was saying that he wasn't happy with the family or something, like he wanted a different family than what he had, like they weren't good enough or something like that on one of the table talks with him right there. He said that she said that to him, and it made him step back like, maybe I need to calm down.
I didn't see that episode, but what I can say, just going by off what you said, Will is the bread and butter, point blank, period. Without Will's success, they would not be in the situation that they are in. Therefore, if you're going to continue to live a lifestyle, you need to fall in line. You know, like people go through crazy stuff every single day. Will is that bread and butter. I'm putting everybody in this house in a position to be able to make money. My career is Trump tight. We don't endanger the bag for no reason at all. If you want to get out, then get out.
He said that they not go get a divorce. He's refusing to get a divorce. He said, we're not doing that. He said, you're going to live on one side and I'm going to live on the other. Y'all got to go watch her Red Table Talk.
That's smart. you know how much money that divorce would cost? That divorce would cost so much money.
Yeah.
It would cost so much his reputation of her. That would be an awful divorce. It'd be so messy.
Yeah.
And so...
Yeah. Even if she's out.
So instead of her saying that she holding him captive, he holding her captive, and this is what you get for holding me captive.
I personally don't think he
bad for that man. Just like we don't feel bad for Pretty Privilege, I don't feel bad for that man.
Well, no, nobody here feels sorry for Will Smith, but just looking at it from a point of view, yeah, I don't think he's holding her captive. I think she just knows that I'm done out here. If Will Smith don't want to deal with me, Hollywood's Will Smith, squeaky clean Will Smith, I'm an angel. Will Smith ain't trying to deal with me. Who else gonna want to deal with me other than young 20-some-year-olds that want to just run through me? You dig what I'm saying? But let me get CKQ up in here and Hall of Fame in here. CKQ, what's cracking, my baby? What's going on?
Good to finally see you back again.
Man, you know, Y'all act like I got kidnapped or something. I just been grinding. What's going on, man?
Everyone here on the panel thought it. I'm just saying it out loud.
What's cracking, man?
Good to see you. Good to see you, man. Yeah. So Danielle's definitely pushing a lot more knowledge than I knew about Jada, but definitely I didn't really think that she was. I forgot who just said it. Someone just said it that. Oh, Chris actually said it. Like, oh, the fact that he could provide like a stable life for me is what made Will attractive. And what you were just saying about everyone falling in line and everyone falling under, I think everyone fell under for a long period of time, and it wasn't a good dictatorship. Like everyone fell in line, but he as the man, it was his responsibility to make sure that everyone was well taken care of. That's Absolutely. Financially and emotionally.
Absolutely.
He made sure the financial part.
Right.
I actually watched it was random. I think it was a while back. I watched I don't know if it was an episode or something, like their whole family went skydiving. And like I think it was like the grandmother or grandfather like had like a passed out or something. And the son was flipping out on Will. Like, this is your fault. Why do we have to do this? We don't need to always be doing stuff like this. Like, why? Like, sometimes you need to just chill and just let everyone relax. Like, we don't need to be doing stuff like this all the time. And he was real pissed off because they passed out. And I think that sometimes Will got his success in doing that. Now he has to realize his family can't be pushing to that, that level. So it's good for him to hold that standard to himself, but he can't hold it to their family because it's different people have different tolerances,
Well, let me ask you something, CKQ, real quick. What you saying that right there? If Will Smith said, you know what, you right, I'm gonna fall back and y'all on your own. What do you think the aftermath of that would be? If he just said, you know what, you right, I don't want you to be this. Y'all grown. I don't want to put no more mental pressure on y'all. None of that. But I'm cutting off all my resources too. I'm cutting them all off. Since this is too much for y'all, these resources are too much as well. What do you think would be the aftermath of all that?
I think the aftermath would be exactly what Jada is doing right now. That money is just not worth it anymore. That her mental peace is much more like needed than the financial stability. Mm-hmm. They have the family now. They have everything that they've ever wanted, and that didn't bring her that peace that she wanted. She's saying she needs to learn how to love again. Honestly, I think she's saying she needs to learn how to love herself. I don't think she's saying she needs to learn how to love anyone.
Yeah.
Because she's lived as Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith's wife. She was never herself. Like, once they got married, they started their family, she kind of disappeared. It was, Jada Pinkett, Will Smith's wife. That's just who she was. That was
it's about her finding her own identity, right?
Exactly. So not even so much her own identity, but like in a marriage, when two people are coming together, they're still two individuals. They're still you're still two individuals working on a relationship, but you're still two individuals. I think she gave up that individuality to be under Will Smith's umbrella.
Okay.
And after not having it for so long, it's kind of like she needs something again, Okay. That's how I see it, at least.
All right. Hall of Fame. What do you make of all this? What's going on with our sister Jada?
She is a sister. Yeah, unfortunately. So yes, I do agree she is for the streets, undoubtedly. Just through her actions. I do agree that her true love was Tupac. I definitely agree with that. Just through everything that they've been through.
And
also,
look at Danny. My bad, Hall of Fame. Go ahead.
Also, I do believe that Will is just a simp and a beta male provider. That's just really all it is. You know what I'm saying? And it shows through what's going on in the household. And the reason I said that is look at the things that have already been documented about his household already. The kids flipping out on him, the kids doing all types of stuff in the media, and doing wild, crazy stuff. Just stuff that you're like, that's Will Smith kids? Like, nah, that's not his kids. And yeah, that's his kids. His wife done cut all her hair off. She bald headed now. It's just a mess, man. She messing with, with a young man who clearly, if you know August Alsina's backstory, he clearly is not stable mentally and emotionally. You know what I'm saying? Clearly, if you do research on him, you can clearly tell that there's interviews with him talking about, him having to basically be on suicide watch. He has health issues, chronic health issues. There's a lot going on with August Alsina, a lot. So that whole entanglement thing, she did emotionally use him. I will say that. Now, August is a grown adult, but he's not a stable adult, and that's just clear.
So why has she not been labeled as the villain?
Hold on. I don't label her as anybody good. I don't.
No, I'm saying, but that's what I'm asking you. Why do you think she hasn't been labeled as the villain?
No, they deserve each other. They've been doing this for years. It's been documented. They've been doing this. This whole swinger thing. This ain't nothing new. There's plenty of celebrities that have basically shined the light on them to let people know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of people that have shined the light on it, and she ain't finding herself. This is who she is. This is who they are. We just got social media now. But when they first got married in the 90s and the early 2000s, they've been doing this at parties and all types of stuff. It's documented. There's interviews, people talking about this type of stuff. So I'm not surprised that just August Alsina ran his mouth. That's all that happened. He exposed them. Completely exposed them. And that's the only thing. So neither one of them is good. Her and Will deserve each other. They've been doing this for years. And August Alsina was somebody that they tried to groom. Because that's what they be doing, I'm not going to mention the other married couple that's kind of involved in something like this. You know what I mean? All I'm going to say is family hustle. Y'all know who it is. But, yeah, they take these young kids or these young adults, they groom them, and they use them, intimately. They use them for their resources, and they use them, as basically as slaves, as basically sex slaves and servants. And they basically tease fame and resources and money in front of them. They dangle it in front of them. So that's what's really going on. So yeah,
I'm gonna have to push back on that a little bit. Like I said, man, and I respect what you're saying, but these are still grown adults, willing adults. At the end of the day, nobody forced August Alsina to get between Jada Pinkett Smith's legs. I'm sure. I mean, he's even admitted it. I've been dreaming about Jada since I was a kid. Yeah. You dig what I'm saying? Jada Pinkett Smith ain't got to put a gun to 90% of men's head to hit that. I mean, so, and swingers, especially high value swingers, like my man August Heat said, that's a normal thing in a lot of circles. So that's not really the issue. Let me go to Chris. So Chris, what do you think about the things that have been said so far? Because I do want to say this. When it comes to, and see, this is why I understand why a lot of people can become selfish when it comes to a lot of their resources, because no matter how much work I put in, something is still not enough. And then people are saying, well, it's Will's job to make sure his family is okay emotionally. Well, when Jada came to him, maybe she was already broken. So how do you heal somebody that don't think they have a problem at the beginning, and then you come to me 20, 30 years later saying, well, I don't know how to love now? Where was all this in the beginning? Now, again, I don't know the ins and outs of their relationship. I don't. But I'm just going by what's been put out in the spotlight. Will Smith has provided a certain lifestyle for them. And this, not unfortunately, but sometimes when you are somebody who is making that kind of money, providing that kind of resources, this is kind of what you walk into. Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go off on the rant. Go ahead.
No, that was perfect. I literally just had this conversation with my brother-in-law yesterday. This idea that women are just, so let me give a little summary. He was saying that women are just emotional and they shouldn't be expected to control their emotions. And by control, I mean, they shouldn't be expected to, it's okay if they have to like storm out, throw little mini tantrums and stuff like that. The man should know how to decipher that and work on that and help her through that problem. And I said, no. I said, this is the issue with masculinity and femininity. I said, no matter what your gender is, self-control is a requirement for both energies. Self-control. As a man, like, you're expected to control your sex life. You can't just I'm assuming like more than 90% of men would love to be wild. Pretty much
we getting her there, y'all.
often. But you don't see them doing it in the street because they have self-control. And now the manosphere is talking about big discipline and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same for women.
Did you just say the D word?
I did.
Oh my God. That's close. I should not be this excited about that but that's close. I'm sorry not to cut you off.
I'm never saying it again on this on this panel. That's it. DICK. Be disciplined. You ruined it, CJ, and now I'm gonna be even more.
Right.
But it's the same for women. You have to have emotional intelligence, and so I'm really struggling with this idea of men having to be tuned to women's emotions that much. Women should know themselves well enough to say, hey, something's off, and then receive the help from the man. He can't help you if he doesn't know that you need help, or if he doesn't know what to help. He can ask additional questions. I'm not saying that you should be able to name the exact problem, what's going on, what's wrong, but you should at least be able to say, I'm feeling unsatisfied. I'm feeling lonely. I'm feeling sad. And maybe you don't know why, but you need to be able to hit on those emotions. That's not the man's job. And it is not okay to say, oh, well, she's acting out because she's sad or she's lonely. It's not a reason. You should have self-control, especially when you're living a certain lifestyle. I think one of the issues is people want all the rights and none of the responsibilities. You want this lifestyle, you want this status, but unfortunately, to maintain this, you have to be responsible for certain things. I don't know what's going on in their personal life, and Dee said a lot of stuff that I didn't know. But I think the point of this is that I feel as though the freedoms are really nice. The rights that you get are really nice, but maybe the restriction that he was putting on them, the restraints, made them feel they were basically, it was creating a lot of friction, a lot of tension. And they didn't like that because they wanted to have all the fun without any of the responsibility, without any of the consequences, and this may not be directly at them, but I've seen this in so many different relationships and partnerships where people want all the freedoms and none of the responsibility. You want all the perks, but the minute someone tells you, well, if you want this perk, you have to do A, B, and C, you wouldn't have a problem with it. You want to push back.
Right. Because I'm sure it's things that Will Smith has to do on a daily basis that he don't feel like doing, that he's uncomfortable with doing. But in order to provide these resources, this is just what I got to do. So if it comes with, y'all have to keep it Trump tight because daddy has an image to provide so we can set up some generational wealth around this piece, then I don't see what's so hard about falling in line with that. Now, again, let me give them the benefit of the doubt because I'm not in their shoes, not in their shoes. So I don't know what goes on the inside, but I do see this with a lot of people. I see a lot of women because I back in the day, I used to deal with women and stuff like that. They will say that, well, I want a man who can provide me a great lifestyle, but I want a lot of time on top of that as well. I want this and I want that. I want great sex. I want a lot of time. I want to go on trips. I want him to be out here working and grinding and getting all this. No, you cannot have it all. Something has to give. Everything comes with a price. King Gene, then I'm going to go to CK. I'm going to go to Danny, CKQ, and then I'm going to go to Hall of Fame.
Okay, so August has been really tearing it up in the comments, man. He said something I totally agree with.
And not August Alsina, everybody.
No, not that cat. Not that. I wouldn't quote nothing he said. But anyway, there's a statement that August Heat made, man. He was saying that Will Smith, according to anyone's standard, is a high value man. And so in order to be with a high value man, there are certain things that you have to accept. Certain things you have to get on board with. So I'm going back again. I can't help it, y'all. I'm going back to the beginning of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
If it was that there was some difficulty, which we know it is, with Jada, as far as healing, as far as learning how to love. That was there at the beginning. If there was some difficulty with Will as far as being a swinger and having certain things that he liked to do that's, beyond normal thing, that was there at the beginning. These people came into this relationship knowing what was expected of each other. You knew what it was when you came in. So now you've agreed to the terms of the relationship. Because think about it now. For them to be together for so long, they had to have a conversation about what was the expectations going in, right? And so after they had those expectations, look at me, man, I'm freezing up. But after they had those expectations out on the table, and there was an agreement on both sides, both people saying, okay, yeah, we're good with what's going to go on. Don't you think it's a little, how can I put that? It's a little dishonest now because you're dissatisfied with the agreement to back out. You agreed to all of this. You was okay with it. So what changed? You can't say, okay, well, I'm traumatized. Well, you were traumatized in the beginning. So what changed? This is who these people are. They accepted each other for who they are. I don't see what the change is about right now. I don't understand.
Danny D.
Have we all heard that hindsight is 20/20?
Absolutely.
So when you first get into something, you could be expecting a thing. Perhaps Will is the predator. And he saw that she was the type of woman that she was and that her career wasn't about it. He chose to put on his cape and save her. But in order for her to step into the ring, he said, but this is what I need from you. And at the time, it seemed good and reasonable. But now we've been doing this for so long and I'm still not a good enough person for you. I feel like he's emotionally abusive. He even came, I don't know what was happening in their marriage. And I agree to a certain extent, but I would be pissed if my husband told me, I'm not responsible for your happiness. You're responsible for your own happiness. Yes, I am responsible for my own happiness. Absolutely. But there are things that you can do that can cause my life to be hell. And if I'm telling you that we're in a situation that I am not happy with, yes, I agree to it, but women are fickle. We are emotional. Our feelings change. And after all these years of us being together and doing all these things, your love for me hasn't grown to where I'm enough for you. You're still out doing these things. And I've told you I don't like it. When she got with August Alsina, they were actually apart. They were not even together. So he really can't be hurt. They were literally separated. They were about to get a divorce. But after that, whatever happened, they changed their minds and decided to be life partners. They're not even considered romantic relationship type partner people right now. They're life partners. So it's a lot going on in that to be pointing a lot of fingers at her and not to be looking at the whole picture, which includes him and what his role is in that thing. Yes, she has some things going on, but he also has some things going on, and it shows in their children. He's even came out and said that he wasn't a good parent, that he gave his children too much freedom. Jaden, he left their home when he was 16. He got emancipated and left because it was too much for him. It's a lot in their household that is just a mess. Their whole relationship that they have shown to their children, Willow don't even want nothing to do with a relationship. She don't want to be with just one person because what she's seen from her parents is that it's impossible to have a monogamous relationship. Mm-hmm. So them as a couple are just a mess. And so with all of that, what I just said, I absolutely agree that she needs to learn how to love. Will needs to learn how to love too. He just haven't said it. We talking about her hurts. I feel like he was hurt too. I don't know what his hurts were because he don't have a red table talk. On here they were saying that the red table talk should be in a therapy room or something like that. This is therapy. They have brought therapists on. And I don't think it's nothing wrong with saying what's wrong with you, because that's what people do. They share their stories and they inspire other people to heal and do the same.
What were you about to say, Chris?
I have a quick question. So he said that he gave them too much freedom.
Absolutely.
So what did Jaden say was too much? If he gave them too much freedom, then where was the pressure coming from? Do you know?
It might have been the career aspect. All the movies he was in as a little kid, they was talking about when he did Karate Kid, that he was like in excruciating pain, and the pressure was put on his father by his father to like push that away and not feel anything. Jada said that she was on that set ready to kick everybody's butt, but Jaden just had the pressure to tough it out, so he did. Like he's a piece of work. And I think that what he is getting is just what CKQ said. They tired of him. And so now they just doing what they want to do. And it's like he can't take away his resources, because if he don't got no prenup, she could just divorce him. She don't it's a lot.
Well, Danny, I definitely respect what you're saying, but I think what you said in the beginning is a classic example of them flipping the situation from the woman to the man. I really do, because the first thing you said is, what if Will was the predator, when it was actual proof that Jada was the predator?
No, I meant with them coming into the marriage.
Right. I'm just saying, yeah. And you said it could have been a situation to where Will saw that. And then you said, well, feelings change, women are fickle and everything like that. But at the end of the day, she still, and I'm not saying you didn't say she took accountability, but she still, as a grown woman, has to be conscious and aware of what she's getting into, because men, when we get into something, a lot of times we don't have that option to just flip flop and be able to leave when we want to go and all that kind of stuff. Will can't do that, because now his resources are tied up. This is his life. Yep. Now, what if it was a situation? Cool. Maybe it was a situation, and I'm not going to put that predator on Will, because it was shown that she was the predator in the August Alsina situation. But hypothetically speaking, fine. Let's just say that he was the predator. She still could have said no. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like, she could have said, nah, you ain't really my type, or whatever the case may be. All this could have been avoided. And this is another example. See, this is, and I'm gonna get to the other guest. I'm sorry, y'all, but I'm just saying this is just another example of what is good enough. I can be millions of dollars, put you in a position to, and I know money ain't everything, and all money ain't good money, but I tell you this: I'd rather be miserable and rich versus being miserable and broke.
Get rich first,
because at least because at least I can get the resources to get the help that I need, versus somebody who can't go to anybody because they don't have the income. But I just think it's just a classic situation of what is good enough, because that's fine. Because Jada could have totally said, you know what, this lifestyle ain't good. I'm not feeling this. Let me go get an average man making $40,000 a year and just go live an average life. She could have said that at any time and walked away. Obviously, it was something about this lifestyle that kept her there. She didn't have to stay. And I'm sure we'll have
her there.
Huh?
It's something that's still keeping both of them there. And I'm not saying he was a predator. I was just saying, what if? And then you said, but she was an adult. And that's just when you asked, how come Jada haven't been labeled with that predator thing? And that's just why. Because August Alsina is also an adult. Everybody is an adult in a situation. I'm just trying to say that everybody is accountable.
Facts. But we all know that if the tables would have been turned, Will would have been done. Canceled.
He would have.
If a sick R&B singer would have said, you know what, Will took advantage of me, you know what I'm saying, and I love Will and I love him and everything like that. I've always wanted to be with Will, and even though they were separated and I got permission from Jada, Will will be the scum of the earth. He'll be a womanizer. Me Too movement will be after him. Tarana Burke will be on his ass. They'll be trying to put him in jail and all that type of shit. It'll be over for Will. over. And see, this is what I'm saying about the whole men don't have that option of flip-flopping out of situations. Men have to be careful, especially men of his caliber, with every single thing that they do. Because Will can't no chick come out about Will saying that, oh, he had me thinking this. Even though I did it under my own will, I was tricked. I was manipulated. I was sick. I needed healing. What will be done? Let me get to.
He should have they should have made sure he was taken care of with some money and made him sign a non-disclosure. He should have took better care of that situation.
100% agree with
if he got such this high-powered person with all these resources and all these things, just like he is protected, he should have done the same for his wife. But he wasn't out there to dry.
I agree.
That to happen to her.
I ain't gonna say that part, but I do agree that
if he didn't want it to happen, he could have stopped it.
Okay, all right. Let me go ahead and get to M3. M3 is here. What's going on, M3?
What's up, CK? I'm sorry, CJK. How you doing?
What's going on, my guy?
Hey, CKQ and everybody else. Well, first and foremost, before I get to the Will and Jada one, I want to say I'd rather have it all. You know, I'd rather be rich and happy. So, I'm just replying to your comment that you said earlier. But yeah, about the Will and Jada situation. Honestly, to be fair, both of them have messed up childhoods. Will grown up, you know, he didn't really have the best relationship like with his dad. I think his dad was a military person, and you know he was very abusive, you know, in the relationships growing up. And so, like, you know, he saw that, and I feel like that kind of made him want to stand out different. Now, I don't know too much about Jada's relationship. I think Dee said something about, like, correct me if I'm wrong, that her mother was like a crack addict or drug addict or something. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know about that. That was something new to me. But as you can see, like, the common denominator is that they both had messed up childhoods, and so they try to remix traditional marriages into something that they modernize in their own style. Are they swingers? Yeah, I believe they are. You know, but because of the way how they want to operate things in their marriage, you know, plays a big effect on the children. You know, when you start like allowing all this like weird stuff going on to your household, and you don't have proper boundaries for your kids are going to grow up to be messed up. Now, career-wise, I can't have like an opinion to it because like I'm not like in their shoes, but I could just only imagine when you try to put an image for yourself first above like your family, it's going to fall apart. Yep. So that's what I want to say about that part, you know. And I can't wait to talk about to the next topic later on when you guys are going to talk about what's that next topic called?
Stepdaddy season.
Oh yeah, stepdaddy season.
Stepdaddy season. CKQ, you know, go ahead, man. Give us your topic. Then we go on the Hall of Fame.
So I was just thinking about everything that you guys were saying, and even about Will. I don't know, like, for everything in his life to be falling apart, just like that, it must have been doing that for a long time. I just don't think he is as mentally mature. Like, 'cause to be a husband, you have to be a good leader. I think to be a good husband, to lead your household, you have to be a good leader. And for everyone to be not okay with his leadership that well, I don't think he's as mentally mature as he would probably let on to the public, at least. Like, he's a good, mature, like, alpha male. Like, I keep hearing everyone keeps saying how he's beta. But, like, taken away from those words, he's just not someone that's can handle the responsibility of taking care of a full household just yet. You know, I think he stepped into that situation just a little too young. And yeah, I think that's how I see it. He just stepped into it far too early. You know, it was a lot of like puppy love with Jada in the beginning, and he was making a lot of money, and he was, you know, pushing himself, grinding, and just saw her, she was grinding too. So it was like, okay, let's just do it together. And it was just kind of like moving that way the whole time. But he never actually focused on growing himself. He grew his wallet, he grew his lifestyle, but he never actually, like, I guess, matured as a person. From what I see and from what I'm hearing, and that's how I'm looking at it. So
Man,
a lot of I know you're not a fan of anything falling off Will. It sounds like CJ, but
and I'm gonna get to Hall of Fame in 1 second, but I really feel like, what is a man supposed to do? These are, at the end of the day, when you become 18, these are grown individuals. Like, I mean, Jada did not have to be there. And I get what y'all saying. Like, and I get it. The leadership. Yes, a man should be a leader in his home. I understand that point to a certain part of view. And CKQ, you may have a point, because with Will's choice and a wife may show how he may be immature. Because I mean, ladies, like, I would want a woman that understands this life that I'm in, because here's what I really think was going to happen. I don't think she thought Will was going to be as successful as he became. And with that success, it comes with certain territories. Let me get to Hall of Fame. Go ahead, Hall of Fame.
that's a good point. I didn't think of that.
Listen. Okay, we got to understand. They both were trained and educated in their respective fields before they even got into it, on both levels. So they both street smart and they're both book smart. Will comes from West Philadelphia, born and raised. I know the song. You know what I'm saying? And he also was schooled and helped out in his career by Quincy Jones. You know what I'm saying? That's how he got the show. You know what I mean? So he had that going for him. Jada, on the other hand, grew up in the streets of Baltimore. I'm gonna call it Bodymore, because that's how high the crime rate is. If y'all don't know about Baltimore, go watch The Wire. Go do your research, okay? For those East Coast and Midwest people, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, I mean, Baltimore is no joke. Baltimore is one of the places where you drive through, literally, and you try to drive as fast as you can, okay? So that's one. And then also, she went to one of the most prestigious performing arts schools in Maryland, okay? So not only she's book smart, she's also street smart too, and that's where she met Tupac, okay? So let's not kid ourselves here. These are both highly intelligent people. What happened was this. Two things happened. One, okay, they had an agreement. They had an agreement that they were going to be swingers from the gate. They had this agreement. This is something that they agreed upon.
Allegedly. We don't know.
Allegedly, okay.
Allegedly.
I'll protect the stream. Allegedly. Sorry about that. Allegedly. They had this agreement. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing. When you bring things into a marriage that goes against what a marriage is about, it's going to corrupt your household. And that's exactly what happened. It corrupted the household. It corrupted the kids, because you're not supposed to be swingers when you're married. That's not a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows that. It's common sense. It's like not stealing. You know what I mean? It's not hard to figure out. So that's the first situation that happened. Secondly, yes, she was a predator towards August Alsina, because, like I said, the man is not mentally, emotionally stable. The man has been on suicide watch. He has chronic illness, which leads to his depression. So yes, she did prey on him. Is he an adult? Yes. Does he got to take responsibility for his condition? Of course. In that situation, though, she's the one that's accountable for what happened, because she did prey on his weaknesses. Well, they both did. They made him feel like he was comfortable, and they made him feel like that he can trust both of them. Remember, he mentioned in the interview, when they interviewed him, that he got to know both of them very well. That this was something they both knew about. This wasn't a surprise. The surprise was when he fell in love. August fell in love. That was what broke the camel's back. The brother fell in love, okay? And once he fell in love, that wasn't part of the agreement. The agreement was, listen, you do what we tell you to do. We help you with your career. We help with your mental illness. We're gonna give you a little something on the side. You know what I'm saying? With Jada or whatever, you got your little entanglement agreement on the side. Remember, they don't even call it an affair. They call it an entanglement. That's how you know it's an agreement. They call it an entanglement. I ain't never heard of that in my life until they used it. An entanglement. I was like, an entanglement? Word? So they know what they was doing. If you come up with a terminology for something, this is something that you planned and crafted. So all three of them planned and crafted this. So it turned bad when he fell in love. And once he fell in love, he had to go. That's not a part of the agreement. The part of the agreement is we help you with your career, we help with your mental illness, you get a little something on the side with her, and that's about it. Because that's what we like to do. And maybe there was stuff going on between him and Will, but he probably allegedly that he didn't want to expose. But that's a whole nother situation.
Well, I do blame Will for that part, because if they were alleged swingers and doing their thing, everybody should have been held to some sort of legal documentation. So yes, I will say Will should have been responsible, because at the end of the day, it is his image on the line. Jada can be all out here for the streets all she wants and claim that she don't know love and how to love and all this crap and dealing with people who sick. And guess what? We still gonna feel sorry for her. Oh, that's just Jada.
I mean,
that's just Jada from Baltimore. Oh, she does that. Oh, it don't matter. Oh, she all right. That's Will's. What girl? She tripping. But anybody want to give final thoughts? I'm gonna go around. Anybody want to give final thoughts on this whole topic? I'll start with Chris.
I agree with CKQ. I do think that Will has accountability in this. I don't really. I think that Jada was responsible for having August sign an NDA. I don't think that's necessarily on Will. If it's her affair, then it's her responsibility. Especially if they were separated when this affair started, I feel like that was on her. But I do feel like the issue is, like M3 was saying, is their background, where they came from. What happens in your past catches up to you. They should have both done some healing before they went into this. And I do agree with CKQ that maybe Will wasn't ready. The issue, though, is that's what he was responsible for, but Jada still said yes. And that's where she's responsible. This is why, it takes a village for someone to get married, because I feel like a lot of women don't see red flags once they start to fall in love. A lot of these issues that she's saying now probably existed when they first got married, but when you sleep with someone, when you're intimate with someone, you fall in love with them, you don't see those red flags. This is why a lot of other cultures, they say they don't let the women choose men, and they don't let them be too intimate with the men, because they know that the woman's going to just want to be with him because she loves him right now. And so I think the accountability falls on both of them, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of this could have been avoided if they had both dealt with their past.
And what's something we always say? Well, not we, but what's something that's always out there? Marriage is a business. Marriage is a business. Marriage is a business. Yes, this is business at the end of the day. So I have to still blame. I will put the blame on Will from that aspect. The business should have been tighter, because even though, like Chris just said, even though it was her affair, she was not going to bear the brunt of the repercussions that come from it. So
I see what you're saying.
Will should have went out of his way. Had it been me, I would have been like, listen here, baby, you want to go mess with August? Go ahead. But that nigga signing something. I don't need him falling in love or anything like that. If you put that messed up, damaged Baltimore coochie on him and he falling in love, all that kind of stuff, if he say something, he need to be out of here. And August is a clown anyway, because had it been me, I would have been on some, can a player get a part in a movie? My music career ain't popping like that. You dig what I'm saying? My music career ain't popping. So can a player be in Independence Day Part 4 straight to DVD or something like that? You dig what I'm saying? That's how I would have went about it, because my daddy, I got a little bit of pimp bones in my body, not too much, but I would have made something out of this situation. I'm not finna be doing no interviews telling. We don't tell. No. August, in my opinion, he was the woman, but again, his feelings was involved, and I get it. We've all been there. But me, I would have been like, can a player hop on the Matrix Part 3 or something? Let me be in Hancock 4. Anything. But go ahead, King Gene.
No, brother, I agree fully with what Chris said. But now, let me just add a small twist to that. I don't understand, for the life of me, with all of the trauma that's between the both of them, why involve marriage? Why do that? Why even get married, man? You know that you have a certain taste. You have some peculiar habits. Why? And then not only that, now you're married, and then you bring children into the equation. And so all this crazy stuff that you're doing, it's starting to affect your relationship, but then also the children.
And he had a son prior to her, King G, not to cut you off. He had a son prior to Jada. And Jada did say it took her almost 20 years to become stable and to become cordial with his first wife. Not to cut you off, but go ahead, King G. Sorry about that.
That's what I like I said. And then we didn't even talk about that. The trauma that he brought into the relationship from his first wife. These folks are riddled with trauma. Why are we okay? So marriage is going to be a magic band-aid that's going to get rid of all of the difficulties that they have. I'm messed up, you messed up, so we're gonna get married and they're gonna make it turn out better. Nah, man, that was ridiculous. Now that I look back on it, it's like Chris said, if they had dealt with the traumas that they had before they came into a marriage, then I think they would have been okay. I think they would have been fine. But now they decided against that. They decided to just, like most people do, this is how we feel. We're going to go off what we feel, knowing that in the next 15 minutes, how you feel could change.
You mind if I jump in on that one?
Go ahead. Yep, give us your last thoughts. Go ahead.
Yeah. Like you said earlier, CJ, marriage is a business. And so you have to kind of think about the time frame, when they got married. They got married somewhere around in the 90s, right? I believe so. So at that time, so at that time, right, marriage was still somewhat of a big thing to like a lot of people. You had like a lot of hype trying to become like power couples. And like I said, probably in the chat, Will is all about his image. So is Jada too, but mostly it lies on Will. And so it makes sense in Will's eyes to get married to Jada because for the media it brings more of a family presence, especially like when he made bad mistakes in his past marriage and his ex-wife divorced him. It's kind of like, well, I need like a rebound girl, to make me look better, to make me feel better. And then you have the kids are like the moneymaker because eventually you're going to educate and you're going to train your kids to become stars like you. And so, they're in the public eye of the mirror, they're doing their own thing, and they're like the power couple. Although, behind closed doors, I mean, smart people will understand that every family has their own flaws. It just some people choose to keep it in house, and others just choose to like air it out.
Shout out to August Heat and Keep Loving. But this is a fire comment. Keep Loving said, when you take your vows, you vow to shut up about your past lovers. That's the dangers of a whole phase. Wow.
Man.
That is a fire comment right there. Woo, I dig that.
CJ, may I say something real quick? Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
Listen, that's what goes on in Hollywood. That's what they do. Y'all heard about the swinger parties, allegedly. Y'all heard about the little secret society parties where they tell you to come in a room and they lock the door and you're like, what y'all about to do? And they're like, oh, go do that. If you don't do that, then you can't get this film role. Or you can't get this movie contract. Or you can't get this music contract. This is what goes down in Hollywood. This is how they get down. They share each other. Why do you think they keep sharing? If you notice, a lot of them share the same women. They share the same men. You know what I mean? They just share everything. You know what I mean? So this unfortunately is how they get down in Hollywood. Allegedly. So yeah.
Okay. CKQ, any final thoughts? Did I come to you for your final thought or no?
No.
Just go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about this besides therapy is probably important.
Okay.
That's really just it. I mean, listen, Will and Jada, they're still gonna keep making it. I think they're still gonna stick it out. Unfortunately, I don't think this situation is bad enough. I think this is still possibly like a public stunt. Honestly, I don't really think this is a full out divorce is happening or anything like that. If I'm pretty sure if you want to get divorced, you can just do it. Like you could just sign the paperwork, and if the other party doesn't sign after a certain amount of months, they can just like, all right, you guys are divorced, and that's it. So if she wanted to do it, she could. The kids are kind of innocent in this whole situation because they were brought into a screwed up situation to start with. That was just not. I don't think that was a good, healthy situation at all to start with. In the beginning, it was a lot of fun, and I think that's what they expected it to be throughout the whole thing. I think as the more money and notoriety Will gained, like the fun just needed to, be more fun. Things just need to keep being more fun. And I think Jada was starting to look for. She wanted things to settle down a little bit more. Whereas he wasn't ready to settle down. His life was just starting. Was he like 50 or like 40s, 50s? Right?
Yeah, I think he's 50.
Yeah, like 50s, making bank, like still in good shape. The man has like literally all of his life ahead of him. But I think she's a little bit more like, I kind of want to settle down with that one person right now. And with their setup, that was not going to happen. That was not the agreed upon terms that they got together with. So I think now they should have like revisited the original agreement getting into the relationship, but now there's kids involved and all that stuff. So I don't know. It's tough. She needs therapy. He needs therapy. The kids definitely need therapy. But that's really about it, I would say.
I think a good example, and I'm going to get to Danny for her final thought, but I think a good example of keeping your mouth shut for the greater good and not being so transparent, because sometimes I think certain people have a bad habit of being too transparent and they think they're doing themselves a favor, but I think it backfires. But a good example of somebody not being transparent is the whole Jay-Z and Beyonce thing. Jay-Z allegedly cheated and they got a bag up off of it. They did it the right way. Beyonce didn't do one interview about Jay-Z. Didn't have to. You know what I'm saying? All that self-healing and all that, that's cool. I'm with that. And if that happened, we gonna self-heal behind these closed doors. But what we are gonna do is flip this and get some paper out of it. You dig what I'm saying? Ain't nobody finna come out snitching and all this kind of stuff. Jigga said, no, this is $1 billion enterprise right here. You gonna do what you gonna do. I'm gonna look like the bad guy for a hot little second. You gonna put out a hot record. That's what you do. I'm gonna do what I do over here. I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm sorry, all that bullshit. And people gonna forget at the end of the day. You dig what I'm saying? So
Beyonce chased Jay-Z though, didn't she?
You said what?
I think that's a two different like women though. You know, Beyonce, I think these are two different women you're talking about. I think Beyonce is a much tougher mental woman than Jada is, I think.
I agree. And I don't think Beyonce was ever for the streets. Her mama and daddy wasn't playing that. So I agree with you on that point. Danny D.
What I would say to that is, with Jay-Z and Beyonce, even Jay-Z said that Beyonce is more famous than him. So Beyonce is a made woman on her own. She don't have to rebel or rebel against to feel heard or to get from under Jay-Z, because she was never under. They've always been side by side. Okay. So she don't have nothing to get away from. She's been quiet about her life before she got with Jay-Z. That was her whole thing, because that was the advice she got from Oprah was to shut up. So she followed Oprah's advice. Mm-hmm. That's for Beyonce and Jay-Z.
Mm-hmm. Damn, you know
I do, because I watch reality TV. This is what I do. I have to find some way to get my drama. Okay, but
that is a healthy way. That's a healthy way. I salute that. I'd rather you watch it than create it on your own. So
I don't want no drama. That's because I don't really have friends. But for Will and Jada, all of you men want to be high value men, want to be leaders, and want to be submitted to. Is that true?
Of course.
100%.
Okay. So
yeah, but we had to be,
no, hold on. I'm still talking.
Oh, I didn't know, because it was quiet for a minute. You asked us a question.
I was waiting for everybody to answer the yes. Okay. So with the yes, just like in a business, the leader is who takes the fall. The leader is who responsible. And to be in a leader position, that's why it is. You were saying, oh, I don't know why it's Will's responsibility to be responsible for this, that, and that, because that's what you do as a husband. If your wife comes to you, Chris, you and Didi get married, you the high value man, you doing your thing out there, and she comes and tell you that she's not happy about something. You being this high value man, because reading the comments, apparently being a high value man, you get to set the path and you don't have to submit to your woman as your woman submits to you, or you don't have to consider her. She just has to do what you say. She has to get in line. Okay,
that's not a high value man.
Yeah, I don't consider that.
When I'm reading these comments, that's I'm not reading them all. But that's what it's seeming like. Is that it's like that's what you get when you with a high value man. That's what you expect. That's your role. She's not playing her role. And
I think there's a lot of people that sorry to jump. I think there's a lot of people that kind of lose that whole high value.
Yeah.
Because you also have to realize there's a lot of guys out here that are kind of I hate to say it, but hurt. They also have some kind of personal vendetta, and they're gonna say like, okay, like women have to submit to me, da da da. Like they put women in these boxes, but they also put themselves in a box. They put themselves in a box, and I have to do all this. The woman only looks for me for my money, so she has to do all this. She has to be all of this stuff, and it's just not a healthy way. I think there's a lot of people right now, especially with this whole high value talk, that are putting themselves in boxes and not being happy with that box. Absolutely. That's why it's kind of like you need to step away from this whole idea that like a woman needs to submit to me. Like even when you said that, that's why I kind of hesitated a little, because I'm like, I don't know, like, yes, a woman, you know what? I agree with that. A woman should submit to me if she wants to. If she should submit to my leadership and the way I'm going to move through life, if she truly trusts that I make good decisions for the both of us and for the health of the relationship.
If you're going to be a wife, you submit. Because if your husband is going to leave, for a person to leave, you have to submit.
Yes.
But
so
it's her
when you take
responsibility.
that and take that vow, you chose to submit.
But it's her
not just the woman
responsibility.
submitting. As a couple, you have to submit to each other because you have to be considerate of each other. And if my husband came to me with a problem, I have to consider his feelings as he has to consider mine. And I feel like Will heard the cries of his family, his daughter. He didn't listen, so she shaved her head right before she went on stage and said, "Screw this, whip my hair." And it followed through with the rest of his family. He wasn't considering the other people. And he said all this on Red Table Talk, that he was all about he wanted to win. He wanted to win at all costs. He did not care. And when you do that, you wreak havoc, because it is your job as the leader to listen to who you are leading. You have to check on your flock. If you're an employer, if your employees are having a problem, you have to listen to that, because otherwise you will lose your employees. Bad management loses employees. Bad leadership wreaks havoc in your home. If you're going to be a leader, then you have to listen and you have to consider what is happening. If everybody in your home is unhappy, then you are the problem. But if you don't want to listen to that and you want to keep on this pursuit of public image and winning, then this is what you get.
My response to that would be, though, it's the woman's responsibility to choose good leadership. Number one, she chooses the good leadership.
Everybody has to choose correctly.
Exactly.
The woman has to choose a good leader, and the man has to choose a good follower, and they both have to listen.
Hold on.
But that's fine. But when she chooses good leadership, she also has to expect what comes with that. She also has to respect. Respect what comes with that. And also, there is a thin aspect. It's a thin line between having it all and losing it all as a leader. Because if Will Smith was a loser, they would talk crazy about him. And he's not doing this for his family. He's not doing that for his family. So now he's winning too much, and that's not enough. It's almost like no matter what he does, is
if you damn if you don't.
His wins are only wins to him. The wins in your family is your family's emotional well-being. Having money is not at all. If my husband is not happy and he's telling me he's not happy, absolutely, that is my job to check myself on the things he's complaining about. If what he's complaining about to me has to do with me, then I need to check that.
All right, let me get to Hall of Fame. Let me get to Hall of Fame, and then we're gonna go on to the next topic. But this is though we might have to come back to this. Go ahead, Hall of Fame.
Listen, they both agreed to this lifestyle, allegedly. You know what I'm saying? They both agreed to this, so they both are responsible and accountable.
Yeah.
I don't put no more blame on her than I do him. You know what I mean? They both wanted to win. They both wanted to be successful, and they both didn't care if their kids were going to be at stake with this. They were having a good time. Mm-hmm. They were having a good old time for over dang near 2 decades. But somebody threw a monkey in the ridge, and somebody that they were entangled with, that entangled person fell in love. And once that person fell in love, that changed everything. Everything got exposed then. You know what I mean? All the skeletons came out of the closet then. All the, I'm not happy with this. Oh, Will's not happy with that. Oh, she's not happy with this. All that came out of nowhere because August fell in love. You know what I'm saying? But before that was happening, you ain't hear nothing about this other stuff.
That Red Table Talk is what exposed all their stuff.
No. It came out on Red Table Talk. That's what it came out on. But the situation that made it occur was that he fell in love, and I believe she fell in love with him too. And that's what made the whole thing fall apart, because that was not a part of the agreement between the three. This is an agreement. That's why they call it an entanglement. It was an agreement between the three. They're not telling us. Remember, they're not going to tell us all the details. That's one thing y'all got to remember too. They're not telling us everything. They're telling you what they want you to know, because he exposed them. August exposed them, so they had to cover themselves.
And did you notice he said what he had to say, and then he went away?
Yeah,
he hasn't came back after.
No, he came back after. His music career really ain't been the same. He kind of been like black.
That was a waste.
He was releasing music when that happened. But I'm saying, but since he said something, he haven't came back after.
Yeah, he snitched for nothing
about anything.
Yeah, basically
he snitched for nothing. But that was a good topic, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
I want to move on to the next topic and our final topic.
Oh yeah,
Step Daddy season.
Hey.
Step Daddy season.
CJ, you have the video. You have the video.
I have. Hold on.
I get the messages every day from the single mother.
Let me see. Hold on. I'm trying to get that set up. Hold on.
You trying to pull up the video about Brittany Renner?
Yeah. Oh
no. Well, it was actually another video I wanted to share.
She got 2 of them too.
Oh, you talking about the one with the red hair girl, right?
No. There's 2 Brittany Renner videos, but yeah, you released another one this week. But yeah.
No, I'm not. Well, in this one, I'm not talking about that one, but it's this video that I want to play for y'all.
God. Look at her face.
Right, she look evil.
Yeah.
So
these dudes, man, I tell you.
as the homie CKQ would say, I'm gonna ask you all to mute your mics.
Yes, sir.
And fair use. Here we go.
I get the messages every day from the single mothers, the baby mamas, the ones who have a problem with my commentary. I'm talking about the ones who have a problem with anybody telling the truth about what they're doing. And I always ask this question: what are the benefits for a man, for him to accept the responsibility of being a stepdad? And this single mom,
hallelujah, and shout out to Pink Book Lessons.
Mom right here, she had a lot to say about this. She was responding to one of the people in her comments, and this man straight up asked her, how does raising and investing in your ex-kids benefit me? What do I gain from working hard and cashing out on another man's kids? So we're going to go ahead and get into her response. But before we do that, make sure you go ahead and smash that subscribe button if you're not already. I'll be that a new video here, right? So let's go ahead and get into it.
This is the ignorant mentality that I speak about. This type of man is a low value man. He has no purpose, nor does he know who God created him to be.
Lady, just stop it. You're just mad that God didn't create him to be a sucker and your kid's stepdaddy. Right out of the gate, she's coming with the sign language, calling him ignorant for asking a really good question, then calls him a low-value man, all because he's asking her to tell him why he should work hard, make money, build a good life, just to invest in another man's kids. But let's see if she has a good answer for us.
To make a comment to say, how does it benefit you to raise somebody else's kid? How does it benefit for you to cash someone else's kid? Shows that you have no emotional intelligence. You have no intellect. Okay? Because see, the reality of it is we're all God's creatures. If
I'm gonna stop it right there, and I just want to get y'all thoughts, and I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna keep playing it, but I want to get y'all thoughts about that so far, as of what you just saw and what she just said. I want to get y'all thoughts.
You want me to go first?
Hold on. I see Danny's face. Let me start with Danny because I do know she got to get ready for work soon. Go ahead, Danny.
She ignorant. She mad.
She mad.
She is a poor chooser.
She ignorant.
She's not. Yes, ignorant.
She ignorant.
When you got no common sense, you ignorant. She's ignorant.
Ignorant.
And it's like she a narcissist. Talking about somebody else is a narcissist because your baby daddy not taking care of their job, so you trying to pawn it off on somebody else. She sound delusional.
M3, what was you about to say? Go ahead, sir.
I'm gonna be hearing like a lot of like single mothers' feelings and stuff. But look, man, if I was in a situation hypothetically, right, if I was single and I had options, I would not choose to date a single mother. I can't be responsible for another man's children when that man has the obligation to take care of the child himself. I don't think it's fair for me to invest my money in the woman or the child, especially when it doesn't really benefit me. I know for me personally, I'm not going to love no one that's not from my own seed. It's going to be different. Now, to each their own. I know there's some. I know some people.
I said that's interesting. You said you don't think you could love a stepchild like your own seed.
Yeah, because it doesn't belong to me. I'm just being straightforward on it.
We're gonna talk about that a little bit later. I gotta put that down in the notes real quick. Hold on. Go ahead.
But I do have like associates. I know people like who played the stepdaddy role and it worked out for them. I'm not saying like it doesn't work out for everyone, but for me, I just can't look at the child and be like, oh yeah, you're my son now. You're my daughter. No. You're my wife's or you're gonna be my girlfriend's son and remain that way. No disrespect, to the little children. But that's just how internally how I operate and how I feel. And I never want to put myself in a situation where it causes some type of dysfunction or the term the baby mama, baby daddy drama. So I like to kind of be drama free from that situation. So I would rather just choose someone who is just equally matched like me that has no kids and start from scratch.
Okay, King Gene, what do you think about the video you saw so far? Just so far, what you've seen so far. And shout out to Pink Book Lessons.
Okay, first of all, man, my perspective is going to be a whole lot different from anybody else on the panel. It's going to be different. CJ, you are aware. I was a stepfather for 14 years. 14 years I did it. Let me tell you something. If this is not the right woman, if you hadn't chose wisely, which most of us never really do, this can be something that can tear your life apart. I don't care what she's talking about because she's the one that's going to get all the benefit from the situation. It's the man who has to come up with the resources. Because now listen, she's not talking about an individual being a husband. That's not what this is about. It's about being a stepdad, a stepfather. So what does that bring to mind? It's saying that you're in this relationship primarily to provide resources. A father provides resources for his children, right? So you come on board knowing that the resources that you work hard, You go out in the world and fight to get and obtain, those resources are going to be taken and given to someone who does not bear any resemblance to you on the biological level. This is asinine. I want you to hear me when I say, young men, if you out there, please listen. This is asinine. What she's talking about is a sure way to destroy you financially.
Yep.
It's a sure way to do it. It costs $233,000 to raise a child from age 0 to 17. Woo. Do you have $233,000 to give? If you don't, you better leave that alone.
Okay, King Gene, I hear you. I hear you.
Hey.
CKQ, what do you think about what you've seen so far?
Okay. So, like King Gene said, I'm going to go a little left here a little bit, okay? So, hear me out. There are some women out there that make mistakes. And I think if we operate too much on the idea that, like, we cannot, listen, from when I was still a virgin, I knew I did not want to date a single mother. And before I even had sex, before I even, like, any of that stuff, like, I was just like, I don't want to deal with anyone with a kid. Right? And I still firmly hold strong in that. Like, I don't deal with anyone that has kids. But especially right now with this whole high value talk and all that stuff, we are criticizing too much women that actually have kids. And there might actually be some really good ones out there that just, they made a mistake. Now, when
what was the mistake? Let me ask you that. What was the mistake?
The mistake was deciding to have this guy's kid. They could have learned from it, and they could know that I've made myself less valuable, and now they could try to make up with like in other ways. Unlike this woman on the video who was just saying that, oh well, this guy's the problem. He's low value, pretty much shaming the guy. There are some women out there that say, yeah, I understand. Yeah, I know that like my value is lower. Yeah, I know I'm not a good option. Yeah, I know. They know all of that stuff about themselves, and they're still going to try to go above and beyond. So that's why I said we got to be careful when we kind of like put all these women in like, oh, you're a single mother. Oh, you're a horrible option already. Nah, she might actually, kid aside, she might be a much more loving, nurturing, and she could possibly take care of you far better than that 21-year-old who's not going to give a shit about you possibly cheat on you. So that's what I'm saying is we right now, especially in this, for some reason in this era right now, men and women are really, really at odds. And it's like we cannot listen to each other or give each other the slightest slack. We're looking for the smallest little things to kind of like jump at each other's necks for. And I think we got to be careful with that because there's been some great stepfathers out there. I wasn't raised by a stepfather. I was raised by my father, but I had no friends that were raised by a stepfather. And they look at that man as their own father, and they're very thankful to have them in their life.
So yeah, I got a stepfather too. Go ahead, King Gene.
I agree with with the possibility that there are some good women in amongst these, but those good women are not going to approach you looking for a stepdaddy. They're going to approach you, my brother, looking for a husband. Listen to me. There's a difference between the two. Sure. And the reason why I say that is because if they're looking for a husband, then they're looking for someone to come in, fulfill that leadership role. And so when you fulfill the leadership role, then the children that are already there, they already understand that they have to come underneath the leadership that you're providing. And so now they become valuable to you because now they are part of the program. But now if someone is approaching you saying, I need a stepdaddy, that means that you're going to be on their program. You can't provide no leadership, brother. You can't.
I agree.
And so I agree wholeheartedly with what you're saying, CKQ. There is that small niche of women who are wives, they're looking for husbands. But now I'm not taking seriously anybody who's saying they're looking for a stepdaddy. I can't take you seriously. If you're looking for a husband, I'm with you. I believe that you can find someone along with the child that you have, you can find someone that can complete the family. But that individual is coming in as the head of the family and not the feet of the family. If I can say that, okay?
Not the wallets of the family.
Right. Not just the wallet, man. Because now listen,
Mhm.
I'll tell you from personal experience, and I don't mean to take over the panel, y'all, but this is 14 years worth of this.
Oh no, go
Right?
ahead, sir. Go ahead. Let it rock.
I graduated college as an electrical engineer, and I put my children on the course to try to do the same thing, to be college graduates. I focused on mathematics, I focused on the lesser sciences so that when the children got of age, they would be well equipped, right? With my boys, I focused on everything that I talk about on my channel: accountability, determination, and discipline. I sounded that down into them. But here was the monkey wrench. The monkey wrench is no matter how good of a person you are, how good of a father, how good of a leader you are, if that situation that you're in doesn't come with the necessary respect, you can talk all day until you're blue in the face. You're not going to affect anyone. You're not. If the respect is not there, it's not going to happen, man. And I saw that because after the 14 years was up, all of the children, except for the ones that came from the union of me and my wife, all of the rest of the children, they found their biological father, and that's who they're with right now.
Lord have mercy.
So, brother, look, that's why I say, if you run into one and she seems to be the best match for you, make sure she's looking at you as a husband and not as a stepdad. That's all
Chris,
I'm saying, brother.
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
King James. I agree with you so much.
Salute.
That was so well said. My dad is a stepfather to 4 children at the age of 21 years old. He became a father of 5 at the age of 21. Okay.
Wow.
And I'm not saying that this is something that men should strive for necessarily, but what I think, and of course I'm a child, so I don't know what exactly he was thinking. He talked a little bit about it in my channel, but basically what I think happened is he said, this woman is a great wife. My mom was raised from the age of like 5 to serve a husband. The reasons weren't necessarily healthy because this was back in the day and they had certain beliefs, but she was. And I think he saw that in her and he said, you know what, this is going to be hard. I'm going to be a father of 5 in my 20s. But we can do this because I get this wife and she knows that when I step into this house, I am going to be not necessarily the head of the household, but the head of the household. They work together because my dad was in his 20s, so my mom started to work and all of that. But all of us respected my dad. Most of my siblings still, if they need something, they'll call my dad probably before they'll call their biological fathers in some cases. And also my femininity coach, she is a single mother before she got remarried. And now her and her husband are millionaires. And she teaches thousands of women how to get married, whether you're a single mother or not. What King Jean said about finding a wife is so important. And that's the issue with so many of these single mothers. The issue with that video is that she's saying, not once did she list any of the benefits. She starts to insult him and she didn't list not one benefit that she's adding to his life, not one value. Women like that, women who only take, you should be terrified of them. Those are your gold diggers. They'll only take and they will not give. And those are the women looking for these stepdaddies. They want to take and take and take. And what they take, they're not going to return to you. They're not going to multiply it and return it to you like they're supposed to as wives. They're going to take it and they're going to suck you dry. So it's so important to find, for these single mothers to become wives, vet these men as their husbands who they're going to submit to and respect, because you are going to carry that to your children. When you act that out, when you act like a wife who respects her husband, you are going to show your children that. If you treat your husband like a bank, your children are going to do that too. They're not going to see him as a human being who has great leadership qualities. And so Yeah, I agree with both you and CKQ. I understand what he was saying as well, but I think the idea of looking for a wife, looking for a husband, that is the priority. And that is what separates this woman in this video who needs to
Who needs help?
yes, like drop kicked and then sent to therapy. But
Yeah.
yes.
Hall of Fame. What are your thoughts on the part of the video you've seen so far?
Most definitely. Listen, it's not about if the woman has 0 kids or if she got 20 kids. It's about her mentality as a woman. Like Chris said, it's all about her mentality. If she's a real woman and she's really going to bring something to the table that's valuable and she's going to add value to your life as a man, then perfect. You know what I mean? You should already have value already as a man, but she's the only thing she's coming to she's just a cherry on top. That's it. You are the cake. She's just a cherry on top. Just adding to your life. She's not here to, basically complete your life or do anything like that. She's here to enhance your life and help you, and be your helper. You know what I mean? But you can't look for her to be your end all and be all. Nobody can do that for you. Not even your parents. You know what I'm saying? They fall short. So, another human being gonna fall short as well. So that's one. And two, as a man, I don't care. Like I said, I don't care if the woman has kids or don't have kids. It's 2021. This ain't the 50s, the 60s, or the 70s. You know what I mean? You should not be looking to take care of nobody just by yourself. Women want equal rights. They want equal treatment. They want equal everything. They want equal pay. So then, if that's the case, then listen, you got to provide resources too. You know what I mean? You're not just going to use me from our resources and not provide anything.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make any sense. You can't want rights and want different things and not have to basically bring anything to the household. That's insane. You're not a child. You know what I mean? Children can do that. And even children, you give chores. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, as a man, listen, you should be looking for a woman who can bring something to the table as well. I ain't trying to steal from any of the YouTubers. It's just facts. You know what I mean? You should look for a woman to bring something to the table. It's 2021. If they want to be treated equal, make sure that they bring something equal to the table as well. And that's all I got to say about that.
Okay. Well, and shout out to Japrice who just came on. But in my opinion, now I may sound a little harsh, but it is what it is. In my opinion, if you are a man with no children, I am totally at 100% against those type of men dating women with children.
Amen.
Totally against it.
Amen.
I'm not saying that great women don't exist who have children, because I have a stepfather, great man. I never saw a difference between my brother and I. But I've done it before, and it was a crappy deal. Just like KS say, like I cannot advise a man with no children to date, because to mess with a single mother, because his resources are going to go towards another man's seed. And sometimes that child can be seen as a burden. And August Heat said something that I thought was perfect. Childless men, in my opinion, need childless women. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not a fan of that. But, sometimes it works for certain people. And I do understand that women who are single moms are not always single moms because of being a thought of for the streets. Some of them have husbands and they die. Some of them are widowed. I get that part of the game. But in my beliefs and in my opinion, I would not advise my son. I just cannot advise. If I had a son and he had no children, I would say, son, you need to start your own family. Now, if it's a situation to where he can't produce children or something is biologically wrong with him, then so be it. You know what I'm saying? And I would say at max a 1-child limit, because man, it's so many elements you have to deal with that, especially if the child's father is still in his life. You have to talk to the child's father. Y'all have to come to some sort of agreement. Can you discipline the child the way that you see fit? Will the mother be okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
It's so much red tape. And all those resources go towards that child, but none of the legalities of a parent, you get none of those for the most part. Now, there are situations where you can adopt and the child legally becomes your responsibility. But at the end of the day, man, I personally just say avoid it at all costs if you are a single man with no kids. Now, if you are a man with children, do your thing. Do your thing. It is what it is. Maybe y'all can create the Brady Bunch. I don't know. But me, I'm not about that life at all because it just really wouldn't benefit my lifestyle. I don't got time to be looking for no babysitter for you. And I don't got time to be asking a child's daddy if they could go certain places and all that type of stuff. No. It is just not practical for me. I don't got time for that. I need somebody who can get up and go. And I'm saying to all the young men out there with no children, your cousin CJ says avoid them like the plague. Not saying that they bad people. Not saying that they bad people, because all women who are single mothers, they could be great, phenomenal women. But the chances, the risk to me simply does not is not less than the reward. Like no, I would not recommend it. Hell no. Japri,
Hi, everyone.
What's going on?
Going on, Japri?
I'm fine. I'm like a little bit under the weather. Like my nose is stuffy. So
that's all good.
So I just kind of want to share something with you guys. I am a stepdaughter to a stepdad. My stepdad came into my life when I think I was 11. My mom and him married. So my father was still heavily like in my life. So him coming into the picture, I already have a dad, you know. I'm not gonna say I was a problem, but in a sense, you could probably say I was probably like that problem. Like I have a dad. Who is this guy telling me what to do? You know, it was kind of like, it was, we went back and forth a lot. Like even probably up until like I left for the army.
You ain't my daddy.
No, I never said that, but I did think it like a lot. I did think it a lot. It caused problems with my mom and I. And then it's like that connection is not there. That connection with him is not there. Another example, he paid for my younger brother to go to like college and stuff. So he went to college and he did get a scholarship, but he did like do a lot for him as far as like in college and football and all that stuff. But after my brother went there to school or whatever, he dropped out after 4 years. He didn't want to do that anymore. So my stepdad was really upset. So like just like I'm done with him, and I believe always said that of course, he will feel how he feel if it was his own son, but they'll just cut him off, just the whole silent treatment. I don't think he would have done the same thing if it was his own son. So there's a lot of that. There was a lot of that growing up. We never really had that connection. And I always felt it's because he's, felt like, okay, she has her dad. And also a lot of things, like my mom played the messenger and a lot. Like he would feel some type of way or say something, but he would send my mom to do it instead of just coming to me. And I felt that was something that he felt he couldn't do or he couldn't say because these are not my kids or, just that discipline and that strong leader that he was expected to be in. I don't think he did. He did very good. Like, I love my stepdad to death, but I feel as though he could have did a little bit more as far as like on my brother's side because he felt maybe as though he couldn't because these are not really my children. I can't discipline them, the way I remember one time he hit my brother and I was like, why'd you hit my brother? Of course I shouldn't have done that. I was, that was out of line for me. But it's just that it causes that too. But I just believe that I'm okay with it as long as maybe the children's father shouldn't be like maybe in the picture or maybe the children are like very young. that's the only way like I'm opposed to it. But
I was gonna say
this is a little story of mine, if that if that helps.
one child,
Just
one
to be
child
honest.
max.
It's just too much. I'm gonna get back to the video, but it's just too much red tape. It's too much red tape. Like, especially if you got a father. Like, my stepdad wasn't hitting me. Like, my dad, my real dad, my biological dad is in my life. Not saying that, but I never did anything to get really out of line. But my dad, my biological dad, was not having that under no circumstances. Right. And it was just a respect thing. And if I'm being bad in the house and I'm in the house with this man, shouldn't he have the right to whoop my ass if I'm cutting up in his house that he's paying the bills in? Mm-hmm. But my dad, like, no, sir, that's my son. That's the red tape. Do I gotta call him every time I got a problem with? See, I ain't got time for that shit.
CJ, do you mind if I say something about that part
real quick? Then I'm gonna play the other part of the video. Go ahead.
Yeah, because see that's the one, like, the key reasons why, like, a lot of people are hesitant to be like stepfathers, and then God forbid, like, you do take the mother in, work for a child, but then you have a kid by the mother, then it's going to become a problem between your stepson or daughter versus your real kid. And for us men, we are kind of selfish, so we're going to give that care and that attention and a certain special treatment to our own seed. That's all I was going to say about that.
And one thing I'm going to add, I can imagine if I had a son or a daughter, especially a daughter, and me and my lady wasn't together, and if a man put his hands on my daughter, it's World War III up in there.
Right.
I'm not playing. No, don't play with me. It's not even, and I don't have kids, but I'm getting mad thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
get more emotional.
Like I got a homeboy, and I'm gonna go to the part of the video. His baby mama was dating a guy, and he spanked his daughter, and he called me. He was like, "Bruh, I'm finna go kill him." And I'm like, "Oh God, Lord Jesus!" I said, "Don't kill him. We don't need you going to jail. You gotta be here for your kids." So I rolled with him to make sure he didn't kill him. I knew something was gonna happen to him, though. To me, you just don't put your hands on another man's child, especially if that man's child is in the picture. You dig? So, he ended up knocking the dude out and putting him in the ICU. But I'm gonna go right. That's all.
Wow.
I'm gonna go to the rest of the video. And like I said, who got time for that? Who got time for that? Like I don't got time for that. But
our responsibility.
You are in love with someone, you embrace their children as if they're yours, okay? And the reason you would do that, if you have an understanding of what you believe and how you believe it, God takes us and he makes us his own, right? When he actually died on the cross, the gospel was given to the Jews, and yet the Jews did not care about the Gentiles, and he grafted us in, the Gentiles, which it didn't belong to us, but he grafted us in. We're now considered his. We're not considered stepchildren. So when you carry a mentality as ignorant as cashing out somebody else's kid, it shows that you lack any integrity, any morality. It shows that you're self-centered and possibly narcissistic. It shows many different things. And
I can see already why she's single. Just because they don't wear weave or they go to church, it doesn't mean they're not disciplinary problems. Women like this are combative, and they don't bring peace to a home, only chaos. Total chaos. These personality traits, communication, usually play a large factor in the failure of their relationships. But they will never admit what they did to contribute to the breakdown. I just don't know what man will want to come home to this woman and her kids. All I see is a lot of headaches. She basically said this man was not smart and he had no morals, all because he's not interested in being a stepdad. But why don't they question the intellect and the morals of the women who choose to have babies out of wedlock? Who choose the wrong man to have babies with? Who choose to run after men who don't want them and think that having a baby with them is going to fix it all? Ladies, shaming and insulting men is not going to get them to agree to bad deals like this. And attempting to guilt them into it by using the Bible is also not going to work. They always use God to justify their behavior and their failures. They make poor decisions in life, so they get poor results, and then try to get another man to be satisfied with being a cleanup man to come and clean up their mess. And another thing, she called him self-centered, but they're actually the selfish ones. It costs a lot of money to raise a kid, and you want a man to allocate his resources to a liability that's really not his responsibility. And she's saying because the Bible said so.
All right, I wanted to stop you right there. Lady, oh boy. Okay. I need to start with some feminine energy for this one. Let me start with Japrice, because Japrice just got here. Japrice, what do you make of what what this lady has said on the video? She started bringing God into it.
Yeah, of course. That's what I don't know what is like. I don't even know what it's called when they start like I want to say they try to use God to manipulate. Like, of course, we all know that, most people, most Black men, believe in God, and, most of them kind of still have some of their morals from, the Bible and stuff like that. So they use it as a form of like manipulation to try to like shame you or try to make it seem like, no, this is normal. This is what you're supposed to do. And I don't like when they do that, because it kind of gives, like, don't be using, like Heaven Samuel says, God don't got nothing to do with none of this. And God don't have, he gave us our freedom of choice, our choice of free will. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say about that. I mean, everything else is what I just said. But I do have one solution though, if I may say.
Go ahead.
I do believe in this, and in my husband's culture, this is done a lot, even though the divorce rate and the single mother rate is very low. But when the mother becomes a single mother for whatever reason, she gives, and the father is still alive, the children go to the father, so that she has a higher chance of getting a husband. If the father is not on drugs, and if he's not dirt poor, like even if he makes probably less than $50,000, give the children to the men. Usually men figure it out, because they always do. Give the children to the men. They have a better chance being with their fathers, so that you can be able to focus and get yourself together and get yourself a husband.
So does she act like the kid is like not there, or how does that work?
So I don't know about that part, but I want to say no. I mean, of course, she's still like in their life, in the children's life, of course. But she kind of like is focused on like getting a husband, and then I don't know if the children comes back, if they pretty much stay with their father. But wow. I haven't heard anything after that. I'm sorry, but that's just a solution, and I've heard that it works, and I've heard other men say that, and I heard my mentor say that too. So I do believe that it works. And me personally, I probably would have been better off with my father too, if that makes sense.
Wow. Chris, Blooming Ebony, what's the deal? What do you think?
I totally agree. And to add to what Japrice was saying, I think in some cultures as well, I could be mistaken, so please take this with a grain of salt, that if they don't give the children to their father, they do have options to give the children. Let's say the husband's not around. The single mother can give the children to one of her siblings, or one of the husband's siblings that's married. And then those siblings will then raise the children in a 2-parent household, because that's the better option. But shout out to Pink Book Lessons. I found her recently. She is 100% right. And I just want to say, this situation is not ideal. Like, I do agree with CKQ when he's saying like he wouldn't advise a young man to go out, and like, he would advise them to kind of avoid single mothers. It's a very, very risky situation to put yourself in. One thing that really bothered me about what she said was, if you love me, you will love my children. Love has nothing to do with it, because the minute he stops making money, where'd the love go? You're gonna be mad that he can't take care of you and your kids. Love has nothing to do with it. And I really hate when women attack men with this, because if that was true, then you wouldn't be expecting his resources in the first place. Because if you loved him, you wouldn't care if he was marrying you and taking care of your children. You would just want to be around him all the time.
Lord, Chris, when this blow up, they're going to come for you, Jesus. Lord, have mercy.
I'm ready. I have a full army behind me.
She got her sword, Demon Slayer, I tell you.
But, and also one thing that she said is, sorry, I'm trying to remember what exactly she said. Pink Book Lessons was saying, just because, this woman goes to church and she does something else doesn't mean that she should, that she's marriage material, like she's not going to create other issues. And that's definitely true. One thing that I say is not what you do, is how you do it for these feminine women. Just because they've marked certain boxes when it comes to their actions, it doesn't mean anything. It means absolutely nothing. It's in how they do it. The first thing that she said when this question was asked, instead of her saying, this is a value that I can add to you as a man, and unfortunately I have children as well, she immediately starts insulting this man, immediately insults him. And if, as a man, if you don't see that, then you're probably not ready to date yet, because those things are slid in so easily, and women are very, very good at doing stuff like that. But those are the main topics, or my main points.
John Jackson, what's going on, man? I see you up here in the comments, man. I appreciate you tuning in, man. What's going on with you, fam?
Man, had I known you came on earlier, man, I saw that at the tail end of things. But shout out to everybody on the panel. Rock with you, CJ, man.
I appreciate it.
But yeah, pretty much what y'all have been hitting on, man, is I wouldn't advise anybody who doesn't have kids to be with somebody with kids either. You know what I mean? And even myself, same as the lady was saying, I called her to before, my stepfather too, at 11 years old, stepped into my life. You know what I mean? And he held it down, to be honest. Had it not been for him, I would have been dead or in jail. You know what I mean? And he looks at me just as much as he looks at his biological son. Mm-hmm. So, but again, he had kids, and my mother had kids as well. And I think it goes back to being evenly yoked, right? Because when a man sees something in a woman, like I said, a wife is found, and a man, it goes back to being husband, that's what he's looking for. So when I was young and dumb, of course, I'm just trying to get into whatever. But when you become progressing to a man, there's specific character traits that a man is looking for. And you can tell right off the bat, like whether it's her attitude, lack of submission, you can just tell. Like when I met my wife, I literally met her, and I married her within 6 months, because I knew immediately, like, yo, what are we waiting for? And I had a child before, and she had a child before. And everything just aligned just perfect. But again, I'm now the man that I am now is because of her. She put the battery in my back. You know what I mean? I always had the drive. I was already on my purpose. But again, when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. And that doesn't just mean a woman, no, wife. That means she's going to add value to the household, to the family. And if they have a child coming in, then she's going to make sure that the child knows, hey, this is how it's going down. You know what I mean? This is your dad, or whether the father's in the life or not. You just know there's a sense of respect. And even with my wife, man, to be honest, she was heaven sent, because she's what I needed at that time. And she's only progressed me further in my career, in my life, in every facet of life. You know what I mean? I was doing good by myself, but when she came, she like 10x my life. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that, whether it's taught at home by her mother, and that's another thing. I looked at her mother, right? I was like, how she is with her father. And that alone, those 6 months, I was like, hey, let's go ahead and do this now. I knew exactly what I wanted and what I needed. and those two things just happened to coincide. And I was like, man, I've been praying. A lot of people are saying, oh, they want to bring God into it, but they don't want to put in the work, right?
Yep.
Or when God puts something in front of you and you ain't on the frequency that you need to be at to order to receive the message. And but I'm not gonna belay everybody, but dope podcast, man. Shout out to everybody on the panel. And man, I wish I tapped in earlier. I need to put on my notifications or something like that. But
Hey man, John, don't go yet. I got a couple questions for you if you don't mind, man. When you were in the stages of dating your wife, like at the very beginning,
right.
did you have to have a talk with her child's father? And did y'all have to come to some sort of agreement? If I mean, you don't have to say, but
No, yeah. No. Well, for sure. So, because her dad's a stand-up dude, right? So,
okay.
Off rip, he wasn't having he vetted me as I'm vetting him. Like,
okay,
what are you about? And off rip, like, this ain't no play. This is my daughter, pretty much basically. And of course, she had my son. I call it her son, and he was stern. And that's another thing that families are kind of missing is the father vetting the man coming on, because I already knew. So to put it all in perspective, I met my wife during the, I guess, courting, dating, whatever you can call it, within a month. I never met her parents rather. And then the day that I met their parents, of course, they both sizing me up. Like, who's this dude? What he got going on? You know what I mean? Trying to see what I'm about. And then, of course, told them my career and all of that. Then they eased up. But it was still a hard conversation to have with her dad, man to man. Because he was military, I was military. It's like, hey, I'm trying to do X, Y, and Z. Blase. And he was like, okay. And more or less gave his blessing then. But but her interaction with her dad is what sold me. Because she had every opportunity. Oh, he wasn't this, he wasn't that. Me personally, if a woman is saying something like that, and I'm seriously trying to make her my vetting her to be my wife or whatever, that's a red flag for me.
Absolutely.
Because my mom was the same way. She never said anything bad about my biological dad. And I see a lot of my wife in my mother, vice versa. And that's why they say you date your men are dating, looking for their mother and vice versa. And I see a lot of similarities in that, because if a woman can hold back what she really feels about her past, whether it was good, bad, or indifferent, that speaks volumes to that woman's character.
Mm-hmm.
And that alone is going to tell you, like, yo, yeah, maybe Ray did her bad, but she ain't said not one bad thing about him, or never brought him up. Or every time I say, what happened to so-and-so? Just lost his way, something like that. They're talking like that is a whole, for me personally, that just took her up to level 8. You know what I mean? Because she had opportunity to bash or talk bad or whatever,
Man, I appreciate that perspective, because we, like earlier, King Gene had gave his perspective and what happened, and now you're giving yours. So it's like it's two totally different perspectives. Now King Gene didn't say it was all bad or anything like that, but I appreciate the perspective that you came with, because it shows that when two men really do what they are supposed to do as men and can have a mutual respect for one another, you can be successful in a situation like that. So I really do appreciate what you said. Now let me ask you, John, real quick. If you had a son or a daughter who was a single person with no children, would you advise them to date somebody with a child?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
And like I said, I just think it's, if a man or woman has kids, I think they should date according to that.
Okay.
With kids shouldn't date a man without kids, and a man with no kids shouldn't be dating a woman with kids.
Okay.
And that's just because it's like a lateral move, right? You can, it's a lateral move in a sense that, well, a single man with no kids doesn't know how to be a father. You see what I'm saying? But a single father or whatever that has kids knows what it means, or typically we're talking about standout men, right?
Right.
And so a man with kids is going to know how to be a father with another woman with a different situation or with kids. And even with age, within that, it's difficult because if you have kids around the same age, absolutely. Now, if you have a 4-year-old and a 13-year-old, I probably wouldn't advise that either because
Right.
that age gap, there's just no way I'm coming home and Darnell is 12 and I'm 25. In here, he's looking at me like his homeboy rather than a father figure or what have you. But
Right.
it just doesn't make sense to me. And like I said, even with my sons, I wouldn't advise them to do that. And of course, that's something that I didn't get as a child. There's a lot of black men are raised in single homes, right, with mothers, or trying to teach them how to be a man. And that's why we get these different stances of these soft men. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And with the manosphere, red pill, blue, whatever the pills, what I don't even know what they're called now. But see that a lot of men are flocking to that is because that's what's been missing in a lot of the black home, right?
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
Now, CJ.
mother and father.
Wow.
CJ, you mind if I ask John a question?
Go ahead, sir.
John, first of all, man, let me say much respect and love to you, man. And look, the work that you put in, brother, it was simply amazing just to hear you recount that. But now here's my question.
Okay.
And it go back to a conversation that me and CKQ was having. I know you was here because you support us and we appreciate you.
No doubt.
In the situation with the kids and your wife.
Yes, sir.
When you make a statement as to how things are going to go as the head of your household, what is the reaction of your wife?
100%. What I say, that's what goes.
And
No,
then
I'm not. So, are you speaking as far as like discipline, or like you heard what your dad said? Yeah, like you doing what he said. It's
right.
whatever I say is, I want to say the end all be all, because I don't. It's a balance, because I back her up when she's saying something, and when I'm saying something, that's like the foot is down. Look crazy, you getting slapped upside your head, or I'm about to go get my belt. So,
Right.
So basically, John, what you're saying, if I'm hearing you correctly,
sure,
is that there is a requirement on the children part to respect both you and your wife.
Absolutely, but that comes from the mother.
Oh, so basically, what you're saying to me now, and you correct me now, man, ain't no problem. We family.
Right.
What you're saying is that when you, like you said a couple minutes ago, when you found this woman, you found the wife,
right,
and she found the husband.
Right.
You not a stepdaddy. She's not a stepmother.
Ain't no step nothing.
It's a husband and a wife raising children together with the proper amount of respect.
Correct.
Brother, listen to me. You are a blessing to this woman and her children, right? It's blessings all the way around, my brother. Look, if things had worked out for me the way that they worked out for you right now, man, I'd be in a better situation. So I applaud you, brother.
Appreciate
I
it.
applaud you. You doing a good job now. Continue to do what you're doing.
Right. And I don't say that to say I'm not. I mean, there's outliers and stuff like that, but I was 25 years old when I met her. We've been married 7 years now. And has everything been perfect? Absolutely not. But one thing I will say, she's always had, like, if the kids, we have two together, right? And then whatever I've said, she backs me up. And when she's like, there's no, well, can I? At first, it was kind of like, all right, I'm a discipline how, because I was a father before I met her, so I was gonna be a father to them, to my son, either way. You know what I mean? And it was up to her to allow that originally. Now, had she said something different, or like, yeah, you can't be doing all that, there's no way I would have married her. because it's coming with, you're getting a father, you're getting a husband, you're getting a leader, you're getting all of that in one. If you're getting one thing, you're getting everything, and everything that comes with it. And she was on board with that from day one. And there was never like, oh, I spank my kids pretty hard. I believe in discipline.
Right.
And whether that's the military part of me or not. But there wasn't no, oh, all right, that's too much. No. I've always had 100% goal to do whatever I need to do to get them to where they need to be.
Man, John, I really, really appreciate you coming on telling your story. We're gonna have to get you back on as a panelist, man. We do these shows on Fridays, man. So I would love for you to tap in with me, man, and we can chop it up. Please shoot me a message on IG, man, at the CJK, and we can exchange more information from there.
Yeah, good deal.
But I appreciate you coming on. I'm gonna have to I want to get the next person that's brand new come in, man. But please, yeah, hit me up, man, on IG, bro.
Everybody, thanks for man, and the show is dope, man. Sorry, tapped in late, but
man, it's all good, bro. I appreciate you for just being here, man. Thank you.
No doubt.
John Jackson, everybody. I appreciate that, brother.
Ooh, powerful story, man.
Shout out to August Heat. We just brought him on. August, can you hear me good?
Yes, I can.
All right, cool. August, before we get you up in here, I need Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame, what did you make of the last part of the video that you saw? I know we was talking for a little bit, but what do you make of it?
Like I said before, it's all about the person that you're with and their mentality. I think that when we come into relationships, we have to have realistic standards. And I think that's really the essence of why things go where they go. If you are with someone, you can't have expectations that they cannot fulfill, that you're not willing to bring to the table yourself. And that's why relationships fail. You can't expect somebody to take on responsibilities that's not their own, or something that's not something that they created, but just off the bat, And then also, if you're going to be an adult, you have to handle all your responsibilities on your own. You know what I'm saying? And then as a man, you got to also watch the child's behavior. I don't even think we even discussed that yet. So this child may be cool, he may be great, or he may be the omen baby. He may be a little bastard.
Sure might.
You don't never know. You don't know. So you got to watch all that. You got to watch behavior on the mother's part and the child's part, and really see if you can handle the situation as a whole.
Chris. Then we're gonna go to August after Chris. And then we're gonna go to Japriest and M3.
I think I went already. Was there another question that you asked?
Oh no! Oh, never mind that. Okay. August, go ahead. Y'all know it's rough.
I just wanted to check in
and be a mediator. Go ahead.
I just wanted to check in. I see that I'm actually lagging. So what I'm gonna do is get my stuff together, and I'll be calling back in next Friday when you come on.
All right, brother. I appreciate you anyway.
All right, I just wanted to show my support, but I'll
thank you, man. Thank you for being in the comments, man. I really
definitely
appreciate you, man. I really appreciate
ladies,
you.
Have a good night.
All right, bro. All right. M3, go ahead.
Sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry about that. My Bluetooth kind of went out for a second. I would just say this: it's very funny how she started like quoting like scripture. No, not quoting, misquoting certain scriptures to play the guilt trip and to play the manipulation game. But if you're gonna start using the Bible, which I hate that so much, then why don't you put the Bible to practice for your own self and not have kids? Well, not have kids unless you're married yourself. And that way you won't have to go through the situation. You won't be having all these like rants and talks and shaming tactics if you was already living by what the good book says, instead of using that book as a weapon to try to destroy men. It was something else I was also going to say too, because because I got distracted because everybody was talking for a good long time, but it was good. It was definitely good stuff to hear. Yeah, I want to end off like that because I forgot my main point besides that.
All right, cool. CKQ. I don't think I came to you about her referencing God and all that stuff. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I think that was just really just more of a deflection tactic. Going back to like what Chris was saying earlier in the video, she really had nothing to combat what he just said. So it was like, okay, let me try to shame him. Let me try to throw off his points. Let me throw God in there because no one really ever wants to combat anything that's said about God. So I mean, there's not much to say about. She had nothing. She had nothing. She knew she had nothing, and that's why that comment bothered her so much. That's why she decided to make a whole other video about just that one comment because it really put it into her head. Like, wow, like I am not valuable, which should speak volumes to her own self. If anything, she should have looked at that comment and reflected and say, okay, how can I make myself a little bit more valuable, as opposed to how can I shame this guy for asking a valid question.
Speaking of that, I got a question for the panel, and I just want y'all to just real quick tell me what y'all think. Does a woman having a child outside of a marriage or outside of a long-term relationship or whatever, because not everybody subscribes to the legalities of marriage, so I'll just say that too for the people that don't, does that make her less valuable? Does being a single mother make her less valuable? Does it lower her sexual market value if you subscribe to that? Chris.
Go ahead.
Start with y'all. I'm gonna just go on this.
That's a good question. Good question.
I know, and I got picked first. It's a hard question. Technically, yes. Short answer, yes. But it's more so that it should shift your priorities and the things that you value in that man, because now you should be able to accept that you're putting a lot more on his shoulders. Does that make sense? And so I don't think that the mindset of you have less value should be a mindset that women have, because it's just going to cause them to become defensive, and then you're going to get the shame, insults, and all of that. They're going to try and combat that because you're not going to let yourself you're not going to tell yourself that you're not valuable. But the idea is you have to reevaluate what your priorities are now, because you're no longer this 25-year-old with no children who's super flexible. You have some baggage. And you need to be aware that this man has to carry, you're asking him to carry that baggage. And so your submission better be on point. Your femininity better be on point.
I know I said I was just going to ask this one question, but I got to add to this, Chris, real quick. So as we all know, we've all seen countless times on Kevin Samuel's show where these women with multiple children call and say they want this quote unquote high value man. Does her having a child, in your opinion, lower her value or lower her chances of getting that high value man that a lot of these women all seem to want?
Yes.
In your eyes. Okay.
Yes, because women, the issue is that women think that they can chase a man, flaunt themselves in front of this man. He's going to be like, oh yeah, you're pretty, and then choose her. That's not how it works. You are only as good as your options. So if you have a child and then you realize the only men that you attract are men who make 40 grand a year, that is your value. And you better be appreciative. And if you don't like that, then you need to make adjustments to yourself. It's not the men, it's you. The only thing you can control is you. And so, yeah, I totally agree. You're not going to, if you have to ask yourself, are these men looking for you? Are they asking to marry you? Are they attracted to you? If they're not, then that's not your value. Right. Look at what your options are. That is your mirror.
Okay. King Gene, does a woman having a child, it's a single mother, does that lower her chances? And does that lower her value? Does it lower her value and lower her chances of getting this high value man?
First of all, August, I see you in the comments, man. That is the Blooming Ebony.
Yep, I put it right. Yep, I put it right in the comments. He asked if you have and they're gonna all shout out their pages when we wrap this up. But yep, I put it right in the comments. The Blooming Ebony.
Thank you.
See how I jumped up in front, man, because I read for the Blooming Ebony.
For
You know what
sure.
I'm saying? I'm her media consultant. But anyway, so now, as she mentioned, let's look at the situation. And now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out all of the emotion related to the situation, all the emotional content. Let's just look at it from a financial aspect. Okay.
Mhm.
When you come into a relationship with someone who already has children, and you're looking at, having a long-term relationship with them or even marriage, then like the Bloom and Ebony mentioned, you have to take into consideration that you are coming with more responsibility. There's going to have to be more resources. So basically, this man is going to have to go out and fight more of a war to bring back these resources. Okay. So now he has more on his shoulders than he normally would with a woman who only is bringing herself to take care of. Right. So now, when you talk about, I won't necessarily say that it lowers her value, but I will say it makes it more difficult for her to find a partner that's willing to take on that kind of responsibility. This has to be a phenomenal woman, like Maya Angelou would say. She got to be a phenomenal woman in order for a man to take on that kind of responsibility. So, and then especially as a high value man, I hate to repeat, some of the talking points of Kevin Samuels, but these particular men, because of where they are in life and because of the resources that they have readily available, then they have options. And if they have the option of starting their own family with someone who doesn't have children, there has to be a compelling reason why they would choose a woman who already has children. We're not saying that they don't have no value. Now, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that if you decide that the person that you found that fits you is a single mother, then you need to be fully aware of what you're getting yourself into when you walk in there.
Yep.
Because you're going to have to carry that load.
Yep.
And you can't carry that load and then be upset because of the fact that this is the choice that you made and now it's more difficult than it would be with a woman who doesn't have children. You have to be realistic. You have to go into that thing knowing that you're going to have to pull more weight because this is what you chose.
Hello. Yep. All right. Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Same question. Does a woman having a child lower her value and lower her chances of getting with a quote unquote high value man?
It depends on the woman. Okay.
Okay.
So, if the woman, if she got bank, you know what I'm saying? If she's an 8 or a 10 in the looks department, you know what I mean, and she's submissive, oh, she gonna get anybody. It won't even matter. You know what I'm saying? And if she got 2 out of the 3, she can still pull somebody. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. It all depends on the woman. It all depends on her. And as I've always said, and as I've stated before, many other times, submissive women always win. They always win. They could be down 3-0 in a playoff series. They're gonna come back and beat you 4-3. They're always gonna win. They will never lose. They're always gonna win the MVP. Always. Every year you can look up, and the submissive woman will always win the MVP. Okay, whether she got kids or not. So it all depends on what she brings to the table. And for a man, if you're gonna get with somebody like that, you got to make sure it's a woman that can actually take care of this kid by herself and not even need you. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't need your money. She doesn't need your resources. She's able to do this on her own if you're not there. So that way, okay, she's financially stable and that she's handling her business, you handling yours, and you can bring your resources and money and everything together and you can form a household, you know. But if she has those 3 elements rocking, of course, yeah, she can pull literally any guy. You know what I'm saying? It all just depends on who she is and what she brings to the table.
So bet. CKQ. Same question, sir.
Same question. Does that repeat the question again, please?
Does a woman being a single mother lower her chances or lower her value, number one? And does it lower her chances of getting with a quote unquote high value man?
Yeah, because you were originally saying like if she has kids with someone but they're not married, they were just dating, right?
Right.
Um,
But to
Yeah,
sum it all up, just if she's a single mother, does it lower her value? And you know,
yeah, like I was saying, I mean, I wouldn't look at a single mother. So yeah, it does. It does. And in the grand scheme of things, you know, Mr. Hall of Fame was saying like it depends on the woman. I think no matter how good the woman, it still lowers their value.
Mhm.
So if you were a 10, if the woman was a 10 having a kid there, that's still one more barrier that that person now has to think about. There's still one more, like, even she could be the perfect person, but that's still one more barrier. It could be a tiny barrier, but a barrier is still there, so that still drops it less. So yeah, it's in my opinion, it's a simple math problem. Yes.
bet. Uh, M3, same question, sir.
Okay. Um. Well, I will say that for two things. I will say that a woman with kids, it wouldn't really, in my opinion, it wouldn't really lower her value as far as this the scale of attraction. And I understand where Hall of Fame is coming from because, if you're a good woman, if you can provide certain qualities, um, then that should be enough to bring to the table. But however, we do live in a world of selfish people, and I will say it will, however, decrease her chances in finding a man with high value who does not have kids, because I think ultimately most women are looking forward to get married. And if that high value man has a pool of options, he's going to be picky. And that's the reality of it. He's not going to really care too much about your personality as much, um, as opposed to 4 or 5 or 6 girls who can match you without kids. So it's really tough, you know, for single mothers, especially if they're single mothers by force. You know what I mean? Um, but I'll say this one last thing too, because I remember what I was gonna say. But when you kind of think about that woman in the video, it makes it hard. Like when you have that type of attitude behind that too,
Mm-hmm.
it puts a really bad stigma on single mothers, on the really good ones. We have the Brittany Renters, we have all these other like single mother celebrities and all that, just talking trash like they're still entitled. Um, Men really take note of that, and it's not fair to judge them, but that's just what it is.
Okay, all right. Caprice, does having a
Um,
baby lower the value?
well, I want to first start off by saying the highest honor that a woman can give a man is to have his offspring. So, for
Mm,
one, she's already given the highest honor that, the most valuable thing that a woman can give a man to somebody else. Also, if I was a single mother and this was a dating site, I've already got one, two, three, four, five no's, so it lessens my options. Um, and it lessens my options. I've already got like no's on here, so it's like also the man will be kind of competing a little bit in the beginning for that value that you're supposed to be showing him. That attention, you know, that nurturing, that you know, and it's a part of that first time experience that you will want to experience with your wife, like with your woman, like how we were speaking about that experience, that stuff, things that men will like to experience with their woman, like where that's their first time. They're the ones that is bringing that first time experience with that woman. um that's a part of that first time experience that men will like to experience, the first being the first thing to experience with a woman. And unfortunately, whatever happened, you won't be the first guy, or he won't be the first guy that um, that she experienced that with. So I mean, it's doable, um, but with the attitude as if like God and all this stuff, it's just a big no no. If they're coming into it like I'm really grateful for you even looking at me as an option, because I do have a child, and stuff like that. Just being grateful for being you know taking on a date and stuff like that. And I think dating single mothers wouldn't look as bad, you know.
Mhm.
CJ, you're
You're on
muted.
mute.
My fault. My fault. My fault. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that ladies, if you have a baby, you have to be very, very careful at the end of the day, because you bear the child, and 9 times out of 10, if you become a single parent, you will most of the time care for the child majority of the time. I think when you have a child and you are not with somebody, you're not with the father, and you're out here in the game, in the streets, it drastically lowers your chances of catching. That don't mean you won't get screwed. And I think a lot of people get that confused. Like, a lot of women think that just because a man have sex with you, oh, I can get men and I can do. No, no, no. You're just for fun. That doesn't mean, especially like with single moms, like, well, I'm not gonna say that. That's mean. But yeah, so just don't think that a man is having sex with you, that it can be serious. It may lead to something, it may not. But yeah, I think it lowers your chances. And to all the women that call KS's show and say, I want this high, quote unquote high value man, he has to make this amount of money, all that kind of stuff. Listen, you can want what you want. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have no issue with that, but you just have to put yourself in a position to make that man really be like, I have to have you, especially if you got a child, man. It's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. I think you have to be practical with your dating choices, and that's pretty much all I got on it, man. But
And
I think
literally, I'm not having no baby. Like, I'm not going into 17 hours of labor or more for some other women. And having birth is close to death. Like, you can literally die. And
True.
so much things that our body goes through while giving birth. And I'm not doing that for no other man but my husband. And that
Yeah.
a lot of women despise their baby fathers. You went through close to death for someone that you hate, We have to be very careful with who we have children with. I really almost died on, an 8-pound baby, almost 9-pound baby. I'm not doing that for nobody else but my husband. I'm sorry.
That's the
and
way it
some women,
should be.
right?
That's a
And
whole
some
world.
women, they push them out like it's nothing. Like, I'm talking about, they be falling out.
It's like a Stargate.
So I mean, like, wow, you know what I'm saying? They ain't got no problem with it. But I think that's pretty much wraps up this topic. But I want to, before we go, we gonna get to the joke of the day. But I just wanted to put something out there. I want to say, and I know this is random, it has nothing to do with any of the subjects we're talking about. But me and Dee Dee have been watching The Cosby Show. We've been watching a lot of it as of late. Claire Huxtable, the character, was for the streets. What? She was for the streets.
Huh?
What?
Are
Are y'all shocked that I said that?
Yeah.
Y'all. Because I'm gonna tell you why she was for the streets. Japrice, I saw you clapping.
Explain.
I saw you clapping, Japrice. Do you agree with that?
She better not.
So
Look,
she.
Yes, I
Oh,
do.
Dupree.
I am so surprised
Oh,
that I'm so
Dupree.
surprised that you said that, because my mentor and I speak about it all the time. I really want to hear what you have to say first before I say anything. But I don't believe that it was for the streets. I think I'm thinking something totally different. But yeah, I am not in favor for the Cosby Show and for Claire Huxtable. Yeah, no.
Okay. I like the Cosby Show overall as entertainment, but Dee made me see things that I wouldn't have seen because all my life I've always heard that Claire Huxtable is this, she's that, she's smart, she's a lawyer, she's mom, blah, 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 blah. Now, as we started to go into watching The Cosby Show, I've noticed some things that were extremely out of pocket that Claire Huxtable done. Not once, but on several occasions. On one episode, I think it was Cliff's teacher, mentor, something like that. She literally kissed him in the kitchen and then looked at Cliff and said, "Watch this." And she kissed him. And when I saw that, my mouth dropped. Because what type of man would let his wife, another man, kiss his wife? And she not only did that once, she's done that a couple times throughout the show. I had some receipts on my page from a long time ago. But I'm going to find them and I'm going to show y'all. Claire Huxtable, the character, not Felicia Rashad, because I think Felicia Rashad, the person, is a writer. But Claire Huxtable, the character, was for the streets.
Now,
on a different world. On a different world. She went on a date with some man. Hey, I'm gonna need her to help me with that. But she went on a date with this brother. The candles was lit.
Oh,
it was a dark room. And I said, "Hold up,
what's going on?
No, you don't do this. Not no married woman. She's for the streets."
Woo.
Claire Huxtable, very condescending, very controlling.
Yep.
She would talk to Cliff like he was nothing at times. And she stated several times how she settled for Cliff.
Yep.
For the streets. She's definitely for the streets. She would state that, well, you know, I didn't really care for your father like that. He wasn't that attractive. She would say this to her children.
Okay, I remember that.
Some of y'all may put that in the realm of being funny and playing. No, you don't. To me, you don't say stuff like that to your children.
Nope.
She talking about Cliff begged to be with me for the street.
Remember, she said his whole government. She called him Heathcliff.
Heathcliff begged to be with me for the streets. Every man on that show was darn near game goofy when it came to chicks.
Yep.
Theo was a bumbling idiot.
Yep.
When it came to chick, we watched an episode today where this fool was doing an acting scene with some chick and they were kissing. Where his woman was literally right down like 20 feet away. Like the writing for these characters. The only real dude on that show for a while, but they eventually simped him out too, was Kenny. Kenny was the only real dude on that show for a while because he would cut into Rudy, telling her about what his big brother said. Now, I got to get y'all thoughts on what I just laid down. I saw Chris. She was looking at me crazy. Go ahead, Chris. What you got to say about that?
I was looking at you. I didn't know. I haven't watched that show since I was young, and I literally haven't watched it since. Once you said, oh my goodness. See, what bothered me, I was looking crazy, but I wasn't looking at you crazy. I was in shock. What bothered me about what you said is the fact that you said that she said in the show that she did not need him. She doesn't need Bill? Cliff.
Cliff.
Like, what's so funny, okay, this is where I struggle with women in submission. The way that you should first know that you should submit to your husband is the fact that at the minute someone breaks into your house, who are you going to look at to go check it out? But you don't want to submit to your husband. You want to say you don't need him. The minute something happens, who do you look at? That's the first question you ask. And it's so ridiculous to me that women do this. This man, wasn't he a doctor in this show?
Yeah. He was a doctor and she was a lawyer. I'm going to show y'all the receipts.
He was an OBGYN. Yep.
Like, the issue with these women is that they're so ungrateful. They're not appreciative. And they have these standards that are absolutely ridiculous. When everything hits the fan, who do you look at? I don't care what you are. You're a lawyer. Who cares? Who cares? When something happens, you don't go with the bat to the front door. You expect him to go. You expect him to catch a bullet, not just for you, but for all your kids.
Right.
Like, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So that's what caught me. It's the fact that she for real said that she didn't need him. And they wonder and then Black women have the nerve to sit here and say, oh, well, it's not us. It's the men. It's not our mentality. The men have to change. It's that type of mentality. This I don't need you mentality, but yet you have to do everything for me. You have to be my stepdaddy. And all this, it's just ridiculous. There's no gratitude anymore. There's no gratitude.
Oh, I felt the F word coming. Oh, I felt it coming. Lord, I felt it.
I thought she was saying that too.
I definitely got to speak to this. Listen.
Go ahead, Hall of Fame. We're going to go in order.
Wow. Chris hit right on the head. And see, it goes deep into just the wives in the family. It's the women in the family, period, sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, the little sisters or the big sisters or the cousins. Y'all don't want to listen to nothing that the man got to say. But as soon as Bobby, your boyfriend, want to go upside your head, or you want to blow up their phone. You want to blow up his phone, you know, wake him up. I always tell the story. They woke me up out of my sleep on the summertime. I was chilling in Central Air. You know what I mean? You know, in the summertime, it'd be super hot outside. I had Central Air blowing. A brother was chilling, knocked out. They wake me up out of my sleep to go help somebody, and they get mad at me. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. It's so crazy. But to speak to Claire Huxtable, oh man, she's so controlling. She's really a witch. I don't like that woman at all. I want to use the other word, but I don't want to get CJ flagged.
No, we ain't gonna do that. So we ain't gonna call her that. But yeah.
But that's what she is though. So you know what I'm saying? But her character on there was just terrible. I remember the one episode where she kept making him go outside in the ring. She kept making him go. And he kept going like a fool. He kept going. Yeah. Listen, look, it's raining outside. Look, you better either find delivery, or if I'm going one time. You forget something, well, it's gonna be forgotten.
On Thanksgiving.
Yeah. We eating when I come back, and it better be done.
M3. Claire Huxtable for the streets.
What a fall to be, man. Shoot.
For the streets. We're gonna talk about that next week. I'm gonna have the receipts next week. I'm dedicating a show to Claire Huxtable about how she was for the streets. I'm dedicating a portion of the show. Half the show gonna be dedicated. I'm gonna show y'all receipts. I'm gonna have to probably take it down because it's gonna be clips from them. They probably gonna be up on it. But next week, ladies and gentlemen, tune in. CJ is coming with the receipts. The show is half the show gonna be titled Claire Huxtable was for the streets. Who was next? Go ahead, M3.
Man, now I wish I could see like the Cosby episodes, but you know they already, you know, they been took that down. But man, no, you know, I was shocked because I was kind of blinded too with the whole Claire Huxtable being like the best TV wife type of hype. So I just kind of played into that. But you guys are kind of reminding me about certain things that I hella did not really take notice of. You know, I mean, when you're a kid watching the show, like you ain't gonna take notice to like all that. You just like, oh yeah, it's funny or whatever. But yeah, Cliff was a sim, big time. You know, and shit, I didn't even think that Claire was really like running the relationship a little bit. You know, or doing all kinds of stuff.
He couldn't even eat a sandwich without her say so.
At all.
He would go to eat a hoagie. She would take it from him. You can't eat that.
Like a child.
Mm-hmm. And heated chips in the fireplace.
I would have been like,
go on, CJ, let them know what it is.
No, I ain't gonna do that.
No, go ahead.
No, and again, we're not talking about Felicia Rashad, the actress. I
love Felicia Rashad.
Felicia Rashad, the actress, is a writer. I love Felicia Rashad, the actress, but Claire Huxtable, the character, is for the streets. King Gene, how you feeling about that?
Well, I guess now that I'm hearing everything that was said, man, you know, I remember one instance that really, really proves what you say. I remember there was an episode with Elvin and Sandra, I'm sorry. And Elvin was sitting in the living room with Cliff talking, and then he asked what's her name? Claire. He asked Claire. She said, Claire, you know, do you serve your husband coffee? And she went off. I don't. He serves me, I serve him, and she went on this whole long rant. And then she, at the end of the rant, she said, "And you better get your mind right, because if you don't get your mind right, ain't nobody gonna be serving you nothing." I said, "Wow, okay then." But now her attitude in that particular episode speaks to the attitude that you see a lot of women have today. That's very same attitude. You know, you
Y'all
might not.
tune in next week. Tune in next. I'm gonna have all the receipts. I'm gonna have them all.
Because it was like it's like, and you know what? And I know this is probably gonna make a few people angry, but I think I could be wrong. I believe she was the original modern woman.
The future modern woman.
Yes.
Kevin Samuels better not steal this from me. He better not steal it. Don't steal from me. Ooh, next week's show. Next week's show gonna be called Claire Huxtable, the original modern woman. Lord have mercy. Okay. Okay.
But she didn't need Cliff. She said that
all the time.
She was a lawyer. She had her own practice. And when she went to do things, she didn't have to confer with him. She had her own money. She had, she could do what she wanted. He was there for companionship only.
Well, there's like at least like an episode where she actually displayed like a need for him.
Nope.
I mean, they would be all lovey-dovey and something like, they would try to balance it. So I will say that. But just like the comment, she went on a date. She went on a date with a guy who liked her in college. And I'm like, before Dee ruined this show for me, I'm just like, wow. I'm sitting there. I'm like, wow. Claire Huxtable was extremely disrespectful and for the street. She was. Now, I know a lot of black folks, if this go viral or if they see this a couple years from now, blown up, a lot of black folks going to be mad at me. But what I ask you to do, black folks, because I know, well, y'all mad at Cosby right now anyway. But a lot of black folks going to be mad at me for going at Claire the character. I just ask you to go back and watch the footage. Go back and watch the footage. Putting pop. Japrice.
Yeah.
Let's hear it. What you got to say?
So I wouldn't go as far to me for the streets, but I remember speaking to my mentor about this in 2018 when people like ate us up all on Facebook. But it gave women this like false sense of reality, like you can have it all. And that's where it kind of starts. Like you can be a lawyer, you can have this doctor husband, you can have all the kids, white picket fence, big house, like I believe that was it the Huxtable? Cosby Huxtable, is that his name? He was a masculine man, but however, he was always made to be the villain. Nobody liked him. Claire Huxtable didn't like him. The children made him to be the bad guy all the time, and he always lost at the end of the show. However, they didn't make it seem like he won because they were all hugging and kissing at the end. Yeah. But it was always what Claire wanted. She had him literally wrapped around her finger. Mm-hmm. It always made him seem like he was the bad guy when he was, the doctor, and he was, taking care of doing things a masculine way. And Theo he was being groomed to not be a masculine man either. Besides Rui, boyfriend, who came to her and told her exactly what her brother said. But yeah, it just gave women this false sense of you can just have it all. And a lot of women do make that comparison. What about Claire Huxtable? I just want Claire, I want something like the Cosby Show and blah, blah, blah. And I would say, well, the Cosby Show isn't on air anymore. So now what? Who do you have to compare yourself with now? But yeah, it just gave women this false sense of hope. And Bill Cosby always was like made to be this villain, this bad guy. He was never right. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
Y'all tune in next week. We're going to talk about sitcom dads, but more so importantly, we're going to talk about Claire Huxtable being the original modern woman. Lord have mercy. Yeah, she was for the streets, if you ask me. If you look, I know Claire Huxtable had a side dude. I know she had a dude on the side.
Most definitely.
If she went out to dinner with a dude she liked in college and told Cliff, hey, she said, Cliff, I'm going. And there's nothing you can do about it. I would have been like, you going where? With who? Dog.
You can go, but you can't come back.
CKQ, are you familiar with the Cosby Show? Did you watch it growing up?
That's a good question. I was just gonna tell you I've never watched it before. I've never seen the Cosby Show.
It's a funny show. It's entertaining. It was on Prime. They just took it off. But
is it on Netflix?
No, it's not on Netflix. They just took it. I don't know why they took it off. Maybe they'll have it back up. But
because of the Bill Cosby allegations back then. Remember, even though he's free, but
yeah, he's free. But I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's been on Prime ever since this whole thing started with Bill. But because they know the Cosby Show is still drawing hella money. But yeah, man, Alvin. If you remember too, originally Alvin would cut into Sandra too.
Yeah,
because they painted Alvin to be a misogynist.
They did.
You know what I'm saying? At the beginning, he would cut into Sandra, and it was that one episode where Claire checked him real good, and he was a total simp from then. It was a wrap.
He was.
And then the only glimmer of realness we had was when Kenny would cut into Rudy.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny, and I'm talking about, but they simped him out too when they got older, as he got older. But Kenny would say, no. My brother says that women are supposed to do this.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't supposed to be doing that. He would check Rudy on the regular.
Yep, bud.
And I said, dang, I said, why is Kenny the only one with some balls on this show?
Good boy.
And Claire always made it telling Ruby and always made it seem like he was wrong because he was poor and they didn't really have as much as they had. So whatever he was saying, it always made it seem like, he don't know what he's talking about, like pretty much, I think Kenny didn't have a dad or something like that. Maybe the brother was playing a role of the father, whatever the case may be. But it was always like an attack on, their living situation and stuff like that. Never what he's saying is right. Stuff like that. But
yeah. And like as he got older, he started to like Rudy, and she could get around other little boys. He turned into a big old simp too. So the last glimmer of hope was gone. Somebody said Uncle Phil was a simp too. They said Aunt Viv would run him.
Yes, sir.
Which one though?
Was it Black Aunt Viv or light skin Aunt Viv?
Both of them did.
Both
of them did.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch Fresh Prince. What would she
I
do?
gotta rewatch that.
Yeah, what would? Because I would see Phil cut into her sometime.
Nah, not really. No.
Never cut into her.
There's only two dads. Well, three dads I can think of that were G's on TV. Carl Winslow sometime was a G.
Yeah, he was.
He held it down. Al Bundy definitely was a G at times.
Yeah, he was a G. That's right.
And my man from Good Times.
Right. Oh yeah, James or something, right?
James Evans.
Yeah.
My girl.
He definitely wasn't.
My girl ruined Good Times for me too. She ruined Good Times for me too.
All the shows.
He was definitely the head of
the
house.
You don't watch anymore.
James Evans wasn't playing that.
Dee ruined Good Times for me too. She pointed out to me. She pointed out to me how they were always losing. Every time Good Times, something good would happen to the people on Good Times, something 10 times worse.
But that was a joke of James Evans walked into the room.
But they always
the whole house got quiet.
There was always order in the house.
When James Evans walked into that room, everybody shut up because the man was in the presence. They knew it.
That's how it was supposed to be back then. But no,
until they killed him off.
Yeah, because he was doing too much. He was like, about to make that paper, that bread at that time. It was like, no, man, we making too much. Yeah. He was about to set a good example for the black folks. They're like, no, we gotta shut him down.
And lady, okay. I know we off topic. One more thing before we go, ladies and gentlemen. Since we're talking about TV sitcoms, another display of simpish behavior. Steve and Laura Winslow.
Oh, man.
Steve and Laura Winslow.
Steve.
Well.
Steven,
What
Chris,
is this
please
from?
tell me you watch Family Matters.
Oh no.
You didn't watch Family Matters?
Yo, where's the sound effects? We need that soundboard right now.
I don't
CJK
watch
like,
a
what?
lot of sitcoms.
You Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, well, at least not newer ones. I Love Lucy. That was.
That's why you're so feminine. That's why
and
you're
Friends.
feminine.
I watched
Good.
Friends.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, good, because Laura was another one who thought she could have it all, and Steve and Stefan. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah,
She
I
was
was gonna say that part too.
Wait, what show is this again?
Family
Matters
with Steve Urkel.
Yeah, but once she
But-
had all them hot girls.
You know, August just made a very good, valid point right there in the comments, and he said TV trained dudes to be simps with no standards.
Man,
yeah,
That and watching all these
that's a
Disney
fact.
movies, too.
I have a question about that.
Laura
I-
finally came around after she done had a few hot girl summers and all them boyfriends done ran up through her. Then she wanted to come running back to Steve because she realized that was the only thing she had going.
But don't forget about Myra too, though.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
once you start going with Myra, it was a wrap.
We're gonna get to Myra. What was you about to say, Chris?
Is it that TV trained men, or is it that TV was just a reflection of what was going on in the households? That's where I get confused. Like, which one came first? Because I feel like TV is more so a reflection of what's going on in the households. Like,
No, because here's the thing. I would say that for guys, what we see in the household, yes, but we watch TV and we see how men and women are interacting there, how men are courting women. Because our parents weren't exactly courting each other. They're probably just busy trying to live life.
yeah.
So we saw how to move through that way, but courting women and how women wanted to be treated and all that stuff, we saw from TV.
Oh, I see.
And
what
if
you're
you see
saying.
guys constantly simping all the time,
So
and they somehow still have a wife and all that stuff, then it's like, okay, well, I guess this is what women want.
Can we say
Man,
the
that's-
same
that's
about
a
modern
fact.
women? Can we say the same about modern
Yeah.
women today learn from Claire Huxtable? How to
Correct.
be-
Absolutely.
They aspire.
I would definitely say it played a part because these shows, they were written. I mean, especially if you're referring to black households, they were written by white writers. And I actually just saw an interview with Jaleel White, the actor that plays Steve Urkel, and he would talk about that. He talks about in depth about how all that stuff was written. Somebody said 90s R&B. Yes, that's another thing that taught dudes how to simp out real good. Begging, the generation of begging.
Ooh, Keith Sweat.
Look, Babyface, I'll pay your rent. For what?
Yeah.
For what? What have you done? Just for being you?
I'll do all the things that your man won't do.
Joe. That's what he
Hey, that song fire though. That's a fire song. I ain't gonna lie.
It is tough, but still.
Fire. But
Well,
yeah, man.
What I was gonna say, I think you do have a good point because like a lot of things that we do learn is like from like TV, and the writers are not us, so it does make sense to kind of write something to kind of tarnish the ideology of like how to run a black household. And so when you're watching that, and there's a lot of stuff, a lot of behind the scenes talk. Like, let's say for instance, in one episode, remember when Steve he was wearing a dress, but I think he was portraying as a cousin. I forgot the name of.
He was. Yeah.
What was the name? Yeah. So he started wearing a dress and stuff, but he was saying like really originally he really didn't even want to wear a dress, and he was like crying and all that behind the scenes because that he knew that if he was gonna go back to school and his friends, his peers is watching him wear a dress, then they're gonna tease him and all that. But I think his dad was like, "Hey man, I support you or whatever you do." So eventually, he kind of gave in and he did it one last time, but then that was pretty much it. So there's a lot of things that emasculate the black person, through these shows, and we watch and we just think it's okay because, hey, this is how you make women happy by being a servant and doing what they tell you to do and being goofy. And you have a lot of goofballs running around now these days.
So, Chris, I want to explain this to you real quick. Steve Urkel had a crush on this woman named Laura Winslow since he was like a kid, like 12. They met when they was like 12. From the ages of 12 to 21, Steve was simping for her and all that kind of stuff. Later on, they introduced a character named Myra Monkhouse. Myra was beautiful. She was a freak. She loved Steve. She would do anything Steve wanted. She worshiped Steve. Like, she was very submissive to Steve. Yep. She loved everything about Steve. She didn't care about none of that other stuff. And they would date here and there. They was in a relationship for a while, but he just couldn't let Laura go. And for the life of me, most dudes, especially my age that grew up watching stuff like that, could not understand, especially because Laura wasn't even all that to me. If you ask me, Laura was not all that. Laura was a 6 at best to me. Yep. I mean, I thought Myra was way better than Laura. If you ask me, in every aspect. Yep. So I don't know what I don't know why they would do that, because she loves Steve for him, not because of who he could become. Oh man, y'all naming them too. Yeah, we might have to do a show tomorrow on that, man, because it's just too much. Like Living Single, Go Home Roger, yeah, like sister.
Oh yeah, I remember the Go Home Roger. That was just on Bachelor Brothers, man.
Just and
then
you
go to school, and then the girls will say at school to tell certain dudes.
But then it would just be like they would get ran through by the streets.
Yep.
And then later on, and that was the constant theme. Like, they would get ran through, get their heart broken a couple times. After the streets done used them and sent them back, now they want to come.
They want to come back home to daddy. They know who daddy is.
But you know what television taught people, like, at the end, is that for men, as long as you keep pursuing that same woman, even though she's been ran through by like 16 different dudes, like, in an entire show, you'll always win her back. And that's why we carry that mentality of keep pursuing and pursuing, keep trying and trying. It's because we are programming our minds to go after these women that don't initially like us, but we feel like, okay, that eventually we keep doing all these nice things. We keep being faithful to someone who's not faithful to us. And eventually, in the end, we are going to win her over.
And it teaches...
Agreed.
Go ahead, Chris. I was just saying, he said Laura said, hey, big head. Go ahead, Chris. I'm going to get everybody's final thoughts. We're going to wrap this up in a second. But go ahead, Chris.
It teaches women also that they can have all their fun and then still end up with a great man as well. What's frustrating about these videos, and I'm going to make a video about this later, but what's irritating about how women are represented and how women act now is that they have no value. Like, they don't value their bodies at all. And they think, one thing that I was thinking is, a lot of women will say, oh, I slept with him because he's attractive. They'll look at a picture and they'll say, oh, I would hit him based on his looks. But looks are free. You can look at somebody for free. So if you're willing to exchange your body because someone looks good, you're saying that your body is free. You're saying your body is worth nothing. And that's what they're teaching these women in all these TV shows.
Well, to be fair, men are notoriously guilty for hitting a woman just off how she looks. To be fair,
If it's free, why buy the cow when you get the milk for free?
Yeah, men will sleep with a woman who is a awful person, but if she fine enough, she just might get it. You dig what I'm saying? So I feel what you're saying on that. I just had to balance it out because she could be a devil worshiping whatever, but if she fine with a fat ass and excuse my language and nice breasts, players will say, well, maybe I could put some God up in her. You dig what I'm saying? So,
but he wins though.
Wow.
Like, the issue is, I see what you're saying, but she controls the access. He won. He goes, I'm not going to give her anything.
Right.
I'm going to sleep with her and I'm going to bounce because she's not good enough for anything else. And she's thinking, I really want to be with him for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that's crazy. And somebody, August Heat, also said that that's TV selling women a Disney dream. Even when you look at some of the Disney princesses and everything like that.
Wow.
Like Pocahontas, just Snow White living with 7 dudes, and the prince coming to find her, and Snow White was definitely for the streets. That's just was what it was. She literally stayed in the house. Now we all adults here.
So you say she got ran through by 7 gnomes?
7
dwarves, brother. Gnomes, dwarves,
whatever you call them.
Let's be real. Like, really, you finna stay in a house with 7 guys and nothing? Like, come on, man.
Women say they need that security though, so those dwarves was probably giving her security.
What would they theme song though?
Hi ho.
Hi ho. Okay, there we go. There it is.
They said Sleeping Beauty was living with 7 dudes. I ain't never seen Sleeping Beauty. Then look at Rapunzel. This dude doing all this stuff for a chick in a tower when it was literally chicks next door. I could go on for days, but ladies and gentlemen, we about to wrap this up. I'm about to give everybody the opportunity to shout out their platforms. I will start with CKQ. Let me see. Let me put the big screen on him. Wait, hold on. He said these little dudes had a diamond mine. That was her personal Dubai. Lord Jesus.
Facts.
Yeah, Snow White was for the streets for real. But all right, hold on. All right, CKQ, go ahead.
Oh, that's a big spotlight, my friend. How you doing? My name's Clemens. I'm the host of the CKQ podcast show. I host a show every week. We go live similar to this show, like CJ's show, on right now, currently Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And we typically talk similar to this show, bring men and women on the panel. We talk different dynamics between men and women and how it plays into bigger society. So, check out my channel. If you like the content, subscribe. Always feel free to hop in and definitely like this video. This was a good talk. I feel like the next one's gonna be much better.
Man, we going in on the next one.
I'm looking forward to it.
I was gonna work Friday, but I just called off on my phone. For next Friday. Real quick, the Pink Ranger was for the streets too. But let me see who else we gonna go to.
Not the Pink Ranger.
She was for the
Power Ranger.
The Pink Power Ranger was definitely for the streets. She kept going back and forth between Tommy and Jason. She couldn't decide. She was for the streets too. I grew up in that era. I was a Power Rangers fanatic.
Man.
The Pink Ranger.
That Mighty Morphin Power Time,
The Red Ranger and the Green Ranger. You're right. She went between the two of them. Wow.
And then end up leaving the show to go be with another dude. Left the show. She wrote Tommy a letter. See, I'm a Power Rangers head. That's my era. I grew up on that. So she wrote Tommy a Dear John letter saying that, it's just not working out. I've met somebody. She left the show, quit being a Power Ranger for another dude. Dude was heartbroken. Yeah, she was for the streets too. Anyway.
She was dating in real life? Sorry, I want to keep this.
She left the show in real life, but her character ended up leaving because she had met somebody else. So she gave up being a Power Ranger, all for the D, for the streets. Ain't no good, but go ahead, King Gene.
You got me crying over here, man. All right. Guys, the name of my channel is The King Gene. I am not the King Gene. And if you go to my channel, I'll explain to you who that group consists of. We focus on accountability, discipline, and determination. Usually you'll get a podcast from me Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 5 p.m. And please like, comment, and subscribe to the High Value Nurse. We appreciate his efforts, and we're thankful that he allowed us to be on the show this evening. Look, man, keep watching. We're going to keep entertaining.
Appreciate that, sir. Mr. Priest.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mr. Priest. I do have an Instagram, which is at Yokum _J on Instagram. Thank you so much, CJ, for having me on your panel. Sorry I was late. I have a message. If anyone's thinking about having a baby by a boyfriend, don't. Husbands are babies. Don't get caught up in this whole single mother stuff. As you can see, it's very hard. It's very hard out there.
Yeah.
That's it.
And someone else who was for the streets. Moesha. was for the streets. Moesha was really for the streets.
Yep.
I'm talking about she went from Q to Hakeem to all kind of different niggas, just running all through niggas, just for the streets. I'm sorry, I know I'm supposed to get to the solo ones, but
What about the Steve Harvey show?
I'm just saying, just for the street. And she's another one who was for the streets on the Steve Harvey show. What's her name? What was her name? What was her name?
They call Boss Lady. What's her name?
Boss Lady.
You remember? That's all I can remember.
Regina.
Yes, Regina.
For the streets. Yeah. All right. Let me get to
Fancy was for the streets too. Jamie Foxx. Yep.
Man, Fancy Show was for the streets. I'm talking about she kept a dude. It took Jamie Foxx 6 years to hit that. Player. You listen. Stop playing with me, bro.
I'm sorry.
Hall of Fame. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Thank you again, High Value Nurse, for having me on your platform. I'm truly grateful to be on here. Shout out to the King Gene Experience. Shout out to the CKQ podcast as well. Shout out to the Blooming Ebony. Also, shout out to Japrice. And, of course, shout out to the big man with the band M3 of Knowledge and Relationships. I am the network manager for Knowledge and Relationships. Okay? Thank you so much for having me on High Value Nurse, and I appreciate everybody on here. Good night, y'all.
Appreciate it. All right. M3.
All right. Well, thank you, CJ, for just sending out the link and allowing me to join in. I was originally going to just take a day off from the stream, but I can't help it, man. When I see your stuff online, man, I just gotta hop in. But excuse me. But anyways, shout out to everyone in the panel. Everyone had great answers, good questions, y'all. And anyways, though, I am from Knowledge and Relationships. I am the great M3, as what most of my friends will call me. And definitely just tune in to not just my channel, but just tune into everybody else's channels as well. For us, we stream at 5:30 on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturday nights, especially for our ladies' night streams. So please feel free to check it out. But besides that, man, hit the like button for CJ Kyles. I don't know why I keep calling him CK, man, because CKQ was in there. So
it's all good.
Well, y'all don't have to change your name, man. But anyways, thank you guys so much.
All righty. And before we get to the last person, I gotta show y'all one more thing. I gotta show y'all one other person. I gotta show y'all one other person the original woman who was for the streets. The original woman who was for the street. This woman right here is for the streets right here. And was proud of it.
Ooh, ain't Blanche, is it?
Yeah, that's Blanche. Blanche Devereaux from the Golden Girl.
Boy.
Blanche
I never watched it.
Blanche Devereaux say, oh, she let you know she for the streets.
Yeah.
Blanche say, oh yeah, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Blanche for the streets. She was really for the streets. Oh yeah. But all right. But last but not least, Blooming Ebony.
Hey, thanks for having me again, CJ. You can find me on YouTube at The Blooming Ebony. We're actually doing a panel tomorrow with all men talking about male vulnerability, and I'm super excited for this one. This will be part 2 to my first video about vulnerability with all married women. If you're interested, please check out my channel and please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And I'm also on Instagram at The Blooming Ebony as well.
All righty then. Y'all be sure to check out everybody's platform, show them some support. People putting in that work.
I get the messages every day.
Well, my bad, y'all. But people out here putting in that work, doing what they supposed to do. And I appreciate that. And I really hope that y'all all go to every one of their platforms and give them a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, I know the part that you've all been waiting for. I've held this off to the end. It's now time for the joke of the dang on day. Are y'all ready? CKQ, since you're here, can I please get a drum roll, please? Appreciate it. What do you call a pudgy psychic? What do you call a pudgy sidekick?
Pudgy.
What do you call him?
Sorry.
A fortune teller. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been today's episode of the CJK experience. I appreciate y'all being here. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be here all week. Be sure to tune in to videos daily, and I need everybody in the comments and all that stuff to go over to the Traveling Heartbeats YouTube page, subscribe to the channel. We are almost at 500 subscribers on that page. That is me and Dee Dee's travel page, where we take our monthly vacations and we go over and we just do what we do. We have fun. We a nice black couple traveling the world, doing our thing as we should be. And ladies and gentlemen, once again, I do ask you to support everybody on this panel, on this platform. And y'all stay blessed. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and I appreciate it. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we out. Deuces.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Peace.